What's happened, you savages? It's Tuesday, the 25th of March. That's it. It's a beautiful day to be alive. There's the church, New Testament. Let's get this party started, gentlemen. What's happening, beautiful people? Uncle Joey here. It's March the 25th. Yes. Listen, I want to talk to you about something. Summertime is coming. You know what that means. It's time to head down to Pound Town. Da, 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 da. You need to be able to get that thing up there. And that's where Uncle Joey comes in. Blue Chew makes sure you're ready whenever the mood arises, whether you're on the beach, under the tunnel, wherever you're at, you're ready to go. Sign up at bluechew.com. Meet with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you get approved, forget about it. Your prescription will be there in days. Blue Chew works. They're serious. They come in little pouches. You put one in your wallet, and when you're ready for war, bam, there you are. Anyway, no more wishing, no more praying for your little fucking dick to work. Those days are over with. Make life easier by getting harder and discover your options at bluechew.com. It's summertime. These women got tons of options. Tons of options. So you better show up with a cape, a helmet, and a box of Blue Chew. Now, this is what I'm going to do for these nice people. You can get Blue Chew for free for 1 month. That's right. You can try it on your own. After you try it for 1 month, you're going to go, Joey, where have you been all my life? It's that easy. First month, Blue Chew for free when you press in promo code Joey, Joey. Again, Joey, Joey. Just pay $5 for shipping. That's promo code Joey. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And I want to thank Blue Chew for sponsoring the show and for helping young men sling some dick in 2025. You know what I'm saying? It's the summertime. 4th of July is coming. I love you guys.
Welcome back to church!
Yo, we're back like a hemorrhoid. What's going on, guys? It's a beautiful week. It's going to be tremendous. We got a guest today, a sensational guest. His name is Myron. That's it. Straight all right? You ever see that Bullets Over Broadway? When the guy would call fucking Chaz Palmer, it's just Cheech. But Mr. Cheech, it's just Cheech. That's how it's going to be tonight. This is Myron, a dear friend, family, and as usual, our Jewish friend, Mr. fucking Lee Syed over there.
Definitely not family.
What's up, my brother?
Good to see you, dude.
How was your weekend?
My weekend was great. I had a good weekend in Boston, did a bunch of shows.
That's what I heard.
They went awesome.
They called me from the bar. They said it was a nightmare.
Oh, the bar was...
what
the
the
late
fuck were you
show
thinking,
Saturday
you know?
got canceled, so I went and did just a bar in Dorchester. And
Sometimes
there's
go
no
home
Jews
and
in
hug
Dorchester.
mom. Sometimes you just got to go home and hug mom. You know
No,
what I'm
I
saying?
like it. It's fun.
I like
it's so
it.
funny. You just yell into the abyss.
You're a fucking trip, you know that?
Doing it. How was your weekend?
My weekend was peaceful. It's tough not having fucking teeth. You know, the bridge broke. You're gonna get a fucking steak. You're there chewing like a fucking, you know, it's a nightmare. You know, they can't even put them in till June or some shit.
Till June?
Yeah, because they have to dig it out and remove 2 teeth that are still good, 2 teeth that go to waste, like fucking waste. And they want like 15 grand a fucking tooth. And the insurance, they pay for like the towels and anesthesia and like a cleaning. What else? Without these teeth, how am I gonna fucking survive? But anyway, what are you gonna fucking do? You know, we live, we get stronger, and we get better. You bad motherfuckers. And don't forget, Friday you can't eat meat. Lent. You know what I'm saying? Remember that. Whether you're eating that monkey, whatever you want to eat, you gotta give it a pass. Nothing. Fucking, you gotta sit there with the white cape on and look up at the sky and wait for Jesus to touch you. All right, that's enough of the fucking religious moment. What's going on, my brother?
Well, not much.
Great to have you here.
Thank you, brother.
The reason why I wanted to bring you in is because you have an occupation that was one of my favorite occupations of all time, which is being a police officer. You know, I wanted to be an attorney, and then I got 4 years, and that dream went out the window. You know what I'm saying?
It wasn't gonna
Sometimes your dreams just go down the shitter. So it's always been fascinating to me, like from a regular North Bergen cop to a Hudson County cop to an FBI agent, and then the DEA, And I became in love with all this shit, believe it or not, when I watched the first year of Narcos.
Okay. Yeah,
I just didn't know that they were saying when the DEA started,
Right.
it was in D.C., it was a little office over a strip club that nobody even knew they fucking existed.
Right.
And they went from, just like we did,
Right.
they went from a big bus with a pound of weed with some sandals, some hippie dude, maybe he had some speed, and then they started getting kilos of coke, and then the machine guns came out, and it was so fucking surreal for them. Like, I don't watch all the bullshit stories. I'll just read. I'll just buy a book at Barnes and Nobles, and I'll just read about that whole thing. Even though you came on in 90, the shitstorm was in full fucking blast. You had the fucking New York mobsters going off. You had New Jersey mobsters going off. You had tons of drugs coming into this fucking area by the shitload. And then that's when, not really, there was still a couple Quaaludes around. I don't know what.
Yeah, I never did a Quaalude case.
Nah, you didn't need to do a Quaalude.
We did ecstasy, though. We did a lot of ecstasy.
You're in the DEA.
Drug Enforcement Administration. Yes, sir.
So you were telling me you went to Fairleigh Dickinson. Run with it.
So I was in Fairleigh Dickinson. First off, I went to Woodbridge High School, so I'm a New Jersey guy. I graduated, Woodbridge High back in '83. I played basketball, and I ended up playing basketball at Fairleigh Dickinson. After a year, I said to myself, because we had to be there like a lengthy time during winter and everything, I says it wasn't for me, and I just stuck to my studies. And I was a finance major, believe it or not, and I ended up doing, what I'm about to talk about. So I went from being a finance major to basically being a law enforcement guy. I graduated in 1987 from Fairleigh Dickinson, and then shortly thereafter, I made my way to the DEA. That was the process started, I believe, in 1990. They had a hiring freeze. So I had to wait actually started in '88, excuse me, let me set that back. I ended up getting hired in '90. There was a hiring freeze for 2 years, so I had to wait. In between then, I worked in a prison, a local, a county jail, so, yeah.
What kind of education was that in the county?
I mean, it was, I tell you what, once they lock the doors and you're in there with 150 guys and, you don't have any weapons, you don't have any clubs. And to be honest with you, maybe the guy you're working with, you have two guys in a pod, he might be like 5'6", maybe 130 pounds. And, I was pretty in shape, but, you had a lot of people in there. So you had to be on your P's and Q's. You had to, watch your back, because there was a lot of fighting going on, a lot of people getting shanked. I remember one little story, and I'll tell it quickly. This white dude came in, and off to the side, I said to him, "Watch your sneakers, because someone's going to take them." Lo and behold, about 3 hours later, I hear, "Oh, boom, boom, boom!" I go upstairs. One of the guys from the pod took a those mop ringers, and busted him over the head. And I tell you, it was the worst sight. Then when I saw that, I was like, "Holy shit!" You know what I mean? I really got to watch, because there was brains on tile. I mean, it wasn't that bad, but the guy was bleeding very badly. And I was like, holy shit, man.
They took his sneakers?
Excuse me?
They took his sneakers?
Yeah, they took his sneakers. They took his underwear. Yeah. But, that was my first major incident. And that happened quick. So that woke me up.
Why did you go from a finance
Yeah.
I would go to a finance major to avoid doing shit like that. And then why did you switch?
You know what? I mean, I always loved numbers. I mean, to be honest with you, growing up when I was a little kid, my mom used to play blackjack with me, poker, and I was always good in math and stuff. So I said, maybe I'll be like an investment banker. Maybe I'll be an accountant. So as it ended up, as I get out of school, I actually did pretty well in school. I graduated top 10% of my class. To make a long story short again, I got a job here in Hackensack at United Jersey Bank, which then became Summit Bank, which then became Bank of America. But I lasted like 1 year, because, I mean, the people I was hanging with, when I went to work,
right.
I mean, it's got to be fun, too. You know what I mean? You just can't go to work and like crunch numbers because you go insane.
Yeah,
So-
banks aren't that fun.
No. I mean, it's nice when you get a lollipop when you're young and you smile. If you put your $5 in the kettle.
When you saw the brains on the wall, did you at all think about going back to the bank or?
I thought about doing anything else but where I was, man. Especially because I had nothing on me. You only have your mouth and like your mouth and like just your instincts. But I did from working inside the jail, you develop a lot of instincts because you can't use anything else but like your brain.
They don't give you anything?
They don't give you a walkie-talkie. You can hit the panic button. But by the time I hit the panic button, it take about maybe 5 minutes before anybody to come in, so you're on your own.
Why don't they give you a stick? Not anything?
Because they're afraid that if they gave you any kind of weapon, that somebody would use that against you. And back in the day when I was there, and I'll tell you, it was Middlesex County. I still have, I think, 1 or 2 people still working there. I mean, there was always a lot of people in that jail. So, like, when you came into that particular location, they would put you in D-Pod. And no shit, I think it would probably house like 40 people. But what ended up happening was we had to get all mats to put on the ground because there was so many people breaking the law back then, even now too. But I think they don't allow all those people in a particular pod. But there was like 160 people with 2 officers, like checking them, So like if something went wrong, to be honest with you,
You're fucked.
I mean, you're fucked. But I used to play games in there with them. They loved me. They called me Robo because I would have like talent competitions. No shit. So what I would do is I'd give them the fucking mic, you know what I mean, the PA and shit. And some of the brothers would sing, some other people would dance, and some other people would do like some comedy and shit. And whoever did the best, you know what I mean, we'd actually like vote on it, And I would give them 2 cheeseburgers from the grill. Because I brought it in, you know what I mean, from the kitchen staff. So that was cool. It kind of gave you a little respect where they knew that, at least I was taking care of them.
Fuck.
But then again, they probably, do whatever they needed to do with me, if they needed to. So,
I always loved stand-up.
yeah.
But where it came to life was when I got locked up, know? And you just brought up a memory, like one of the nights they showed the worst movies. It was in the cafeteria. And they showed the worst. PT 109, like those old, and this is 1988.
Yeah.
And they're showing these black and white movies. But every night, every time that a movie night, the projector broke.
Oh.
There were those old projectors,
Yeah.
old porno projectors. And it would break. And I don't know what happened. I think now in my mind, I see the guard. He was a chubby dude.
Yeah.
A little tanned. He wasn't Spanish. He was something else. And he came over to me and he goes, "You love talking shit in the kitchen. Why don't you get up on stage? Why don't you get up on the table?"
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know. And then I heard some of the black guys saying, "Get him up there. Get him up there."
How old were you, about?
I was 25 years old.
Yeah, see, I was there in '88 too. That's when I started.
No,
for
but that
those
was
2
in
years.
Colorado.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
That's a little different than
I was
Jersey.
in a complete
yeah.
different fucking
got you.
state. But it always stuck with me. Like, in fact, I was just talking to somebody about the confidence I got doing whatever I was doing on Wednesday nights. It was like 3 months of it.
Right.
And I was doing everything then. I was a Jamaican.
Yeah.
I was the attorney.
Right.
I was the fucking house attorney. So if you got into a beef, I went to see the little judge with you, and we cut a deal. You got to do laundry for 8 weeks. You can't eat bread, shit like that. And then I took over pretty much the entertainment.
Yeah. That's a good thing. Yeah.
We would go in, but it's really weird that I didn't forget. I knew I always did stand-up in there.
Right.
But till you said that you were the guy that did the talent contest, I was like, Jesus Christ, God bless people like you.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. That's definite. I mean, because you get bored in there too. Because what's in there? You had like a little TV, like you said. They would do that movie night, and then chow time would come up, and everybody would go nuts because they want their Slim Jims, they want their Reese's, you know what I mean? And then the meds, all of a sudden you hear meds up. Everybody would run. Everybody was on fucking meds, So
Sure.
that's just the way it was. And yeah,
Like
I learned a
Tuesdays
lot.
and Thursday, you get commissary.
Yeah, and it came in a
people
little
go
brown
nuts.
bag. Yeah.
You take a shower and shit. You get ready for that motherfucker.
But that was problem. Like too, because then people would be fucking heisting people's shit. Give me your bag. Now I got to go over there and most of the time I just turn the other way and let them handle it, because most of the times what would happen, to be honest with you, they wouldn't fight because they were scared. Some of them would, though, and you knew which ones to stay away from.
I think in lower capacity, like I got 4 years, and I was in Boulder.
Yeah,
And right away they told me when I went in, they go, we got overcrowding.
yeah.
You're getting shipped to Texas or Oklahoma. And I'm like, what? And they're like, sit tight, we'll let you know. Then 3 days later, they came and got me.
Yeah.
And I go, where the fuck am I going? They go, you're going to Summit County Jail.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, Summit County? This ain't in Jersey.
I was thinking Jersey, yeah.
This is Colorado. This is a fucking ski resort.
Oh, shit.
And all of a sudden, I'm in a ski resort. And they're like, I go, where's my prison uniform? They're like, wear what the fuck you want. And it was maybe 20 people, 20 of us. But it was like 20 of us. And there were like maybe 4 guards. And I thought I was locked up. I was going to I was waiting to go to a state prison. Yeah. And like the first night, the guy comes to me and he goes, Diaz, what do you want? I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, what do you want? I go, commissary? He goes, fuck commissary. We go to Safeway. They would go to Safeway.
There you go. You had it good.
Oh, my God. And they had cable TV, carpeting. Yeah. We played handball outside with whatever clothes you had. But I met an interesting dude in there that had a great story, and I read his paperwork. This motherfucker got in trouble. He got caught with 2 kilos of coke. He sold it to the FBI. Forget what his name was, New York City guy. He got in trouble, he got pinched, and part of his deal was to buy 2 kilos with these 2 undercover cops inside. Are you ready for what this motherfucker did? He got a house that he knew was already vacant. He set it up inside with a light. He went in and he dug like a little path, and he came on. He took the money, the 2 kilos of coke, and he came back to New York for like 8 years.
I mean, the guy that they wanted to...
The feds couldn't find him. They had the whole neighborhood staked out. This motherfucker slipped right through him.
It was the FBI, though, right?
It was the FBI.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been the DEA.
No, they let him slip right through. He was there because they caught him 8 years later. And now he was looking at like 28 fucking years.
Oh, no.
Tremendous. This was a great program they ran up there. Anyway, I'm sorry.
That's all right. That's funny because it reminds me of something quick that I'm going to just talk about. And I won't really mention an office, but we have like 19, 20 offices. But there was an office that locked up 2 guys. And let's say this is about maybe like 12, 14 years ago. So what ended up happening was there was a big marathon that most of the agents, and there wasn't many agents in this particular group, that they went to this marathon after they locked the guy up, and they thought somebody was still with the guy taking care of him. So it was a Friday, you know what I mean? So this guy is in one of our lockups, you know, our cell blocks, because what happens is we have a holding tank, and then we'll take you, like if it was Eastern District or Southern District, we'd take you to Brooklyn or Manhattan. But this guy, for some fucking reason, they forgot that he was there. So this guy stayed in the fucking holding tank, no shit, for 3 days. And nobody was there, so he didn't eat anything, but he was drinking from the toilet bowl. So thank God that, you know, we have a toilet bowl in there. But I tell you what, I mean, a lot of you're laughing all and stuff. The guy, I think, come away with like $6 million because there was a massive lawsuit. And this is legit, you know, this is what happened.
How do you forget about somebody?
That's what we all said. But again, I won't mention the office, and it's my own people, but it did happen.
$6 million for fucking toilet water?
Yeah, I would do that too.
I'd do that too. By
Yeah, I'd eat my own. I might eat my own shit for
I'd
that.
bathe, yeah. Absolutely. I use it as skin cleanser.
Yeah.
Right? It might even hit. People wash themselves with their own feces. It's a hit. You know, Gloria Stefan is doing it.
How long did it take him to start drinking from the toilet?
I mean, I think the guy was a little high too. From you know,
Oh, fuck yeah, you
that
gotta
when they
be
brought
high.
him in, you know, yeah, it was a couple of kilos they got him with, but I think it was like the next day because I think he was still like yelling for people and like, you know, like nobody came. You know, he's banging from what he says on the toilet bowl is like metal, so he's banging on it. You know what I mean? Nobody's coming. They're all at a marathon. You know, they're going like in Vegas.
Right.
So, you know, I'm talking about a division that's close to Vegas, but, you know, sometimes shit happens, man, you know?
So what were your 3 first years in the DA about?
Oh, Jesus, my first day, I mean, it was amazing. I mean, I came in full of piss and vinegar. I had a nice suit on. So they said, you're going to group D22, you know? So I says, okay. So I go, I meet the guys. They're all laughing at me because I got a suit on. You know, I go, well, you know, it's the first day. He goes, take the suit off, you know? I go, okay, we're going out tonight. So I go, what are we going to do? What are we going to do, you know? And there's like 10 guys, 12 guys to a group. You know, everybody has their own car. You have your own desk. We're going to the Washington Heights, okay, where the Dominicans are. So I go, let's go, you know. So I go in the car with my senior partner, and I'm riding shotgun. He's talking to me, and we got a deal going with, we have 2 of our informants, and they're meeting with some Dominicans, and we got like transmitters going, and everything's, you know, we're watching everything. All of a sudden, the hit signal goes, you know, get out, we got to go get him, you know. So now I get out of the car with my partner, and I was in good shape because I just came to the academy, so I was one of the first ones there, and I got one of the guys that went in the bodega on the ground. Everybody else started scattering because, again, you're in the Heights. They think you're coming for everybody. You know, no shit, there was kilos coming out of the window. You know what I mean? Money and shit. And I'm in a bodega, and we're looking for 2 other guys that escaped. So I left a guy with one of our other guys, and 3 of us or 4 of us went off looking in the streets for these guys. We were going to apartments, and no shit, one of my partner, he was carrying a machine gun, and he goes, take the machine gun. And I go, what do you mean? I never was even trained on a machine gun. Even in the academy, we only shot it a couple of times. So I just threw this motherfucker on my back. And I remember when I was running, it was hitting me in the head. I was like, oh, Jesus, I had like lumps on my head. But we ended up not getting the rest of the guys. But the moral of the story, I mean, it was a fun first day. And the thing I vividly remember, so now you make the arrest, right? You go back to the office. Now they're having the new guy process them and do all that bullshit, you know, taking pictures. Now I got to stay all night with the guy. You know what I mean? And then in the morning, I got to take the guy to arraignment. So it was a long day. I think, honestly, I probably slept like 20 hours after that, you know, to get my energy back. But it was fun. And I was like, wow, this is where I want to be. You know, this is fun. I mean, you know, it's not the bank. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
It was far cry from the bank. So
what you're telling me is when you rob a bank, it's the best day of their lives.
Yeah,
They
absolutely.
get some action in there.
Yeah, you got to have that. I love
They
action.
see the manager get bitch slapped. You know? Papa, give me the safe.
Yeah. Oh.
Why does the DEA go and not the cops? Like, why are you brought in? Are they just bigger people?
I mean, it really depends on, like, you work, like, for instance, in New York. I was always in New York. I had to do a tour in D.C. When you're in New York, there's about 20 groups here, and each group specializes in possibly something. Okay. So, like, and then you make your own cases. You know, so like, you make cases based on informants. If you don't have informants, you're not going to make cases. But we did make cases, and I'll get to that later, in Brooklyn without informants, and that was difficult. But I mean, once you get your horses, your informants, they're just setting up deals, and you could do deals basically every night. I mean, you know, you really don't want to because then you're in jail. Excuse me, you're not in jail. You're in court all week long, and you got to do other things. So, I mean, it's not like we're doing bigger cases. We are. But, you know, we got to remember one thing, too, that the DEA has a lot of money. Okay. So in order to make buys, like what I'll get into later on, like if you're with NYPD, the most you're going to do a buy for is like $400 or $500. Where I was like giving like 40,000 to people.
Jesus.
You know, and letting it walk and doing it 2 or 3 times. So, I mean... You know.
How hard is it to convince someone to be an informant? Because I think I'd flip immediately. I don't think you have to ask that hard.
No disrespect. I think you'd probably flip in 2 seconds. Man.
I would offer it immediately. But some people they act like they're not going to do it. Was it hard to flip people?
Not really, because let's just take for instance, like in the Heights. When we worked the Heights, right?
Right.
We would do crack cases. Okay. So there was mandatory sentencing federal guidelines where if we got them with 50 grams of crack, you're definitely doing 10 years. That's a long tour. You know what I mean? So right. The Dominicans, to be honest with you, because they didn't speak much English back then, they didn't really know what the fuck was going on. So you'd bring them back to cell blocks, they wouldn't talk, right? And they wouldn't talk, and they just you know what I mean? And I just say, you know, my group would say, let's just take them down, we're tired. 3-4 days later, they'd be crying. You know, now all of a sudden they're speaking fucking English. You know what I mean? To the attorneys. Hey, can you get me out of here? You know what I mean? Right. I go, well, your time might be lost because, like, people know you're in jail now. But to be honest with you, I was always a decent guy when people, you know, cooperated because I feel people make mistakes. You know what I mean? And if you make a mistake, you know what I mean? Instead of doing 10 years, perhaps, with the judge's approval and some letters written to attorneys and stuff, maybe they'll do like 5 or 6, or sometimes maybe it'll do like 0, like, depending on what the circumstances are. So.
And can you stop being an informant, or are you just an informant forever now?
We let you know when you stop.
We'll let you know when
When you get shot in the head,
No, I mean, and you know what?
they come to the funeral. Your son was a great informant.
Yeah. Thanks a lot. He did a great job,
He did a great job. He was.
But you know what? Yeah, I mean, some people, to be honest with you, I had people that just came in that just wanted to be an informant because, let's just say you were doing a money case, okay? Meaning like, you're looking for like $1 million. You're looking to do a reverse on somebody. Instead of buying cocaine, you're saying you have cocaine or you have heroin, right? If somebody shows up, let's just say with 200,000 and stuff, okay, and we come and we lock you up, federally, I mean, it's a conspiracy. You're still going to get hit for, what you were negotiating for. But what ends up happening is we collect the money. Now, if the informant was not a defendant informant, we would put him in for 25% of that cut. So, for instance, I would cut a check, not me personally, but it would come from headquarters. Maybe 6 months later, that person might get like 60, 70,000. And let's just say you're doing $1 million. Let's say you're doing. I had informants that made more money than probably my whole group. And you know what? It was like, we'd be like, motherfucker, maybe I should just stop and become an informant, because here I am not making peanuts, but these guys are making real money, so.
I didn't know they got paid like that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, you can put them in for 25%. And like I said, some guys would just walk in and say, hey, I know somebody who's got money, and you take it from there, and we're not going to turn them down. So, it was fun. I tell you what, it was a blast, man. I wish I was back there. I mean, still doing it, but I tell you, the commute for me, and I'm talking about silly shit now, but the commute was horrible because I live down south, you know what I mean? So every day you'd have to make that trek down. And, sometimes, 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, you're looking like the fucking Holland Tunnel is jammed up. And I'm like saying to myself, what are they doing, waxing the fucking tiles again? It's like you never got home, It was hard, especially if you had kids, so.
Now, before you started making buys and all that stuff, do they actually train you?
You really can't train someone to make a buy. I mean, we had like undercover classes, which is silly, over at the academy. Most of the people, I'm going to be honest with you, and I'm not trying to tap myself on the back or whatever, but for a white guy, I did a lot undercover, and I enjoyed it because I don't mind getting in front of people and talking. If I don't know them, if I do know them, I don't give a shit if I make a fool out of myself, and a lot of people ask me to do undercover for their cases. So I did a lot, you know what I mean? And that was fun. That was the best part of the job for me, doing the undercover. I frankly didn't like doing surveillance because, you'd have to sit on somebody for 10 hours. You might not see shit. Maybe hear a dog barking in the place, or maybe the guy finally leaves his house, but he goes to Burger King and goes back. But you need the surveillance. You know what I mean? You gotta keep eyes on these guys to see, what they're doing, who they're meeting with. And a lot of these guys are night owls. So, a lot of times you got to stay there a long time. You just don't leave. You know what I mean? You got to leave when the boss says go. And if you had a good boss, sometimes he let you go a little early, but,
Tough to have a marriage with that job.
It was rough. I gave my wife, obviously, Denise, a lot of credit because we had 2 sons and, they were in school and she had to do everything. And, by the time I got home, I tell you, she had, food on the table, even if I came home late. So, and then the kids would be in bed. So I missed a lot of the kids, different things that they were doing with sports or with school functions, their friends. I missed all that. And that's horrible, so.
It's just crazy because for years, as George knows, I'm a Miami Vice fan.
Yeah.
Like so was everybody else my age at the time. And I remember like guys going to buy 10 kilos and not doing a line of coke.
Yeah.
Like just looking at it with a tube and give him the money. And the guy would leave. I'm like, bitch, I got to see you do something. Like that's always been my thing. Like,
yeah.
And then I got locked up and it's a federal case.
Okay.
So they arrested me for like 3 hours and they put me in a federal bin in Boulder. But I was in there with some dude who I'd never seen before. He was dressed like he was going to a Michael Jackson party. This motherfucker had like a tuxedo on. Yeah. The tuxedo was loose. like Elvis, what not Elvis, but like Tom Jones.
Yeah.
He would let the tuxedo top
What's
on.
new, pussycat?
Fucking guy was beautiful, sharp hair, moosed up. You know, you could tell he had done coke for like 4 days. And we started talking, and you know, I go, "What happened?" And he's like, "Dog, this is the wildest thing." And we just started talking. And he said that he went on a trip with a girl and another couple. And on the way back, that guy was a fucking undercover Fed.
Mm-hmm.
But he goes, he was doing coke with me, line for line. And I'm like,
Nah, the guy was bullshitting, man.
but then you watch a movie like Rush.
Yeah.
And I know you've seen
Yeah,
that one,
yeah.
right?
I try not to watch too much, but I tell you what, I enjoyed Narcos and stuff like that because
No, not Narcos.
Yeah,
The other movie with
yeah.
The guitar player, the crazy piano player.
Yeah.
He dated Cher, George. He was the piano player in that band that does the Allman Brothers. Did you ever
Okay.
see that movie?
I probably did, but it's not coming to me right now. You know,
It's a movie
probably,
about he's like a kingpin somewhere. But the moral of the story is Jason Patrick, Jackie Gleason's grandson,
Mm-hmm.
and a pretty girl from Fast Times.
Oh,
They
yeah.
become undercover agents, but their boss is Sam, whatever his name is, and he just tells them, you got to get high with these people. And these guys go off the fucking deep end, and then they go to a rehab. By the time they go to court, they look like, you know, Johnny Verrucci, and there's no blood test, they piss positive, they shave their hair. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, have you heard of this shit, or is this just jailhouse bullshit?
Nah, I mean, like he says, it is probably a story, but like when I was doing my things or anybody does their things, if you're dealing with like legit businessmen, because you might be thinking about maybe some mutts on the street, you know what I mean, some kids or but you know, with the DEA, most of the times what we were dealing with normally, I mean, you'd have to start low sometimes. You're talking, these are businessmen, Colombians, you know what I mean, Mexicans now, right? Whether it be the Italians. So I mean, these guys ain't really doing this shit. So like when I was posing and doing some of my things and stuff, I mean, nobody would even ask me that. And I met some pretty top heavy people. And you know what? I would just be like, if they asked me, I'd be like, get the fuck, I don't do that shit. You know what I mean? I just make money off it. I mean, you know, that's just poison, you know? So, you know, could be stories. I know, you know, with the DEA, I mean, that doesn't go down at all. But, again, it depends on who you're working. Like, you know, I would never go, although I have done this. I mean, you're not supposed to go in people's houses and stuff like that, or in apartments or nightclubs and shit. I've done that on a lot of
You
occasions.
gotta go to a nightclub.
Yeah, but they don't want you going in because then surveillance doesn't see you. I mean, I have a story. I don't even want to. I have so
Okay.
many
I mean,
friggin' stories.
I mean, like on the way home,
Yeah.
there's a club, you know, where people hang out.
Yeah.
And on the way home, before you go home, you stop and then get a drink, see what's going on in your neighborhood. I thought it was like that.
No, I'm talking about like if I'm going even to go make a buy and shit. I mean, it was times that, you know, I would go and be honest with you, I have a drink or two before I go in and make a buy. And, you know, I'll tell you, I'll give you one quick story. I don't know how it's going to come out. My memory's a little shot, but one of the guys from DEA was working this guy. He was a Russian guy. He was a big motherfucker, about 6'5", 300. And I didn't know him from Adam, nor did the DEA agent that had the case. But apparently he killed a cop in Queens, you know. So they're like, hey, Myron, you know, I'm like, what? You think you could try to meet this guy? I'm like, you know him? Do you have an informant? No. You have a phone number? I got a phone number. So I end up calling the guy, you know what I mean? Just out of random, just say, fuck it, let me try it. I forgot the guy's name. I believe it might have been Steve or whatever, but he was a Russian kid. He didn't speak full English. And I'm like, I call up, I go, hey man, I know you from somebody from somewhere. And you know what I mean? I know you're over at it was the Limelight with Pete Gation and stuff. Because to be honest with you, our office was right across the street, so we would watch it a lot. And he ended up wanting to meet me based on, you know, I don't know what the fuck I said, but we ended up meeting. But again, to make a long story short, he wanted to meet in an area, maybe it was about 6 blocks away. And I got there early with my surveillance team. And I says, man, I'm here early. I'm by myself. And I'm like, you know, I'm a little nervous too, because he's a big guy. He might have killed this cop. And it was a big story back in the day. The cop in Queens they come up to the car and they pull the trigger and they put one in his head. And so I got there early and I'm like, fuck, man, I'm looking around for a bar or something, you know? So I see one and I go, I go over to the bar. Now, everyone's watching me. I didn't give a shit, my surveillance. I go to try to get in the door. The guy goes, "You can't come in here." I go, "What do you mean?" I said, "I want to get a fucking drink." He goes, "You're not allowed in here." I'm shaking my head, and I go, "Why?" I'm looking around, though, and I'm seeing something a little peculiar, you know what I mean? Because there was nothing but guys in there, So what ended up happening was, now the guy calls me and says, "Are you here?" I go, "Yeah, I'm here." He goes, "Where are you?" I go, "Well, I'm by this bar." I go, "But I can't get in." He goes, "I'm inside the bar." I go, "Really?" He goes, "Try to come in now." So I go back, they let me in. It was a gay place, you know what I mean? With all guys in there. I mean, it was crazy shit going on. I can't even recall because I was like a little nervous to meet this guy, and he was big. He met me at the door. He went to everybody, but there was guys on the bar, like, shaking, and everyone's drinking shots. They're all dancing, bumping with each other. All of a sudden, he goes, "Come on downstairs." Now, there's all marble going down these stairs, and I'm going to myself, "Motherfucker, Myron," I'm saying to myself, "You're by yourself, man." I go, "I gotta go. I'm fucking ready in here, So I follow him down there, and I stop at the end of the stairs. Now, he goes in a urinal, you know what I mean? And this guy is huge. I don't know how he got the fuck in there, because he got to squeeze in there. It was like Superman. And he's in there. Now I'm a little nervous, and I don't normally get nervous like that. He opens the door, and he goes, "Come on in." Now, we're in a gay joint, and I'm not trying to pick on it, but I'm thinking, what's this guy going to do? Is he going to do something to me in there, whatever? I'm just thinking crazy thoughts, So I go in there, and he goes, "You got the money?" I go, "Yeah, you got the money." He goes, "The stuff's underneath the toilet." I look at him, and I go, "I'm not fucking bending down to get that shit." I go, "Go get that shit and give it to me like a fucking man," you know what I mean? But he was nervous too. I was nervous. We ended up doing the deal, is the moral of the story, you know what I mean? When I came back out and I went back to the office, everybody was pissed at me because I went inside, but I did the job. But again, those are the kind of things you don't want to do, because a couple of our other agents, like namely, and I'll mention one that I had a case, was Everett Hatcher. I don't know if you all remember Everett Hatcher from Staten Island. Gus Faraci was going bananas there in Staten Island. There was a movie made about it. Actually, Tony Danza played Gus Faraci, and he was out of control, and he killed our guy, Everett Hatcher was doing undercover, and something happened. I don't want to get into it, but the guys lost him, and he ended up getting killed. And basically what happened after that, which was obviously very sad to see somebody, getting taken out like that, and that somebody could actually do something like that over drugs. But I guess Faraci was just nuts, you know what I mean? So what ended up happening for like a good 6 months after that, we rode them, all the guys, the Italian guys, every fucking family, broke down their games, did everything until somebody, came up with where this guy's at, Faraci. I don't know if you saw the movie. I mean,
There was
Tony Danza played him. I think it was Tony Danza. He plays all those movies. He was in another one of ours, that Mob Over Miami was another movie that was made about that Chris Ludwigson kid who was dating Madonna.
Yeah.
But he had issues that nobody knew. He opened up a club in Lauderdale. It was a Club Liquids. I mean, it was one of the biggest clubs.
Monday night.
Boy,
Black Cat, Pussycat.
Yeah.
On Monday night. I went there once. They gave me a cock ring. On a Monday night, I went there.
There you go.
With some people from the Improv. I was in shock. I didn't even know what a cock ring was. I ain't going to lie to nobody here. I was like 40 years old. I had no idea. That's how deep they took it. Let me tell you how hot the club was. On Monday nights, it was very tough to get a plane ticket out of Newark or LaGuardia to go to Miami. That's how hot it was.
I mean, now even today, that's hot. I mean, Miami's hotter than Vegas. I mean, it's unbelievable. But that's a whole nother
Where
story.
is Chris Ludwig now? Let's get to it. Last I heard, he had a pizza place 2 miles from me.
He might. I mean, like I said.
Yeah, he opened up 2 restaurants in L.A. again.
Yeah.
And let me tell you who else he dated. That if everybody forgot about.
I know who. I know Sofia Vergara.
Vergara.
Yeah, but who was also in that mix was Sandra Bernhardt. They were all, that was, back in the day, obviously Madonna was the shit, And this kid, I think, you know what? And the reason I know this, because what ended up happening was we did a lot of cases, and sometimes when you do too many of them, you give cases away. I had given that particular case away to another guy who worked it, but I still was involved with it. But he was like 23, 24 years old. He was running Miami. I mean, and he had a lot of people behind him, you know what I mean, that were mob guys. But he was a tough kid. You know what I mean? He was hurting people in his clubs. You know what I mean? If they disrespected him, and he did get a lot of respect there until what ended up happening was his history came back on him. You know, and that was he did a push-in job in Staten Island with this other
PK?
kid. What's that?
What's the kid's name he did it with?
Well,
One of those just got out.
I better tell you, I'm going to give up names. There was one kid. There was actually all three of them were there. I think Paciello, then they changed his name to Ludwigson because I guess he broke off from his father. I mean, he was with another kid by the name of Reynolds.
PK Reynolds or something.
It was Tommy Reynolds, and then there was somebody else. Again, I had dropped
The guy
that kid.
just got out of jail maybe a month ago.
But they did, a decent amount of time. And I tell you, it was horrible what these kids did. I mean, they knocked on the door in Staten Island because they thought there was like, I think 300,000 in a fucking cereal box, whatever it may be. And the lady come to the door and her husband was behind her. And the kid Reynolds just come, boom, and shot her. Jesus, man. And so that's what came back to him, where, he would have been gold there in Miami, but he had to do his time. And I think he ended up doing 16 years maybe, or I'm not actually sure, you know what I mean? Because I didn't follow it. Again, you can't quote me on some of these things, even some of the names sometimes because it's been a little while. But, yeah.
Did anything like that happen when you were undercover? Like anyone pull a gun, anything like, and what do you do in that situation?
Well, thank God nobody ever pulled a gun, like I said, because I never would have a gun on me. Because when I worked a lot of these mob guys, and I worked some older guys from the French Connection day, and that's when I was giving $40,000 and letting it pass. I let it walk 3 times. That's how much the bosses loved this case because we got involved with some good people. But when I started meeting these guys, and I'll mention, and this guy he did more time in Connecticut, and I think he just got out again. After we locked him up, he got out. He just likes to be in jail, I guess. I guess he likes the commissary, you know what I mean, the Slim Jims and shit. But, I was meeting a guy by the name of Frankie Catino, and he was an old fucking guy. And I would meet him at a place called La Maganette over in the city, which was on like 53rd and 2nd Avenue. And I tell you, that was a fun case because... I'm kind of losing myself here because this case initially was handed to us through an informant from Jersey, actually, and I'll say he's dead now. Joey Eppolito was the informant, and I got to give props to my partners and the case agents on this, on all these cases I'm talking about. One is Eric Stangby, and the other one is Robert Brizzolari, who are great agents, and we did a lot of things. But I was meeting this guy at this La Maganette, and like they would pat you down right away. So if you had a gun on you and shit, you know what I mean, it wasn't working. They would pat you down for wires. And I remember I used to bring a whole wad of cash into La Maganette, and I felt like a king because, I really didn't have that money, but I was taking it from, the government, So I remember the bartender, she was a good looking girl, you know what I mean? And she liked when I come in because I'd say champagne, boom, boom, get this guy this, whatever. And I'd always give her a good tip. But that's when I first... started meeting, we called him Herbie, Frank Catino, in La Maganette, and that was a big case. There's some, he was involved with the French Connection Day. You remember the French Connection? Yes. Back in the 70s where that was the boys from Pleasantville Avenue, okay? Elvis Presley sung about that, right? What was the name of that song? The Purple Gang. You know what I mean? So that was fun because I was meeting with 3 or 4 guys at that time, and that case took about a year. And it all came from, that one informant who now, unfortunately, who ended up, to be honest with you, he was a really good guy. He just made some mistakes, and he was involved with O.J. Simpson and back in the day. That's how popular this guy was. He was a very charismatic person, and his father was big in the mob too. His father was Joey, and Joey was a big marijuana coke guy. So he's the one. I had to actually meet his brother while Joey was in jail. I met his brother in Point Pleasant for like a weekend to go over our game plan because I had to remember like all these people because I was supposed to be like Joey's like guy, now took over. So, I was spending a lot of time with them, and then they set me free, and for like a year and a half, we went up on a lot of wires. We locked up a lot of people. Again, Rob Brizzolari and the group, he did an outstanding job. And, we actually got into the heroin was coming from China. And there's a big difference between heroin. You know, there was Afghani heroin. There's all kind of crazy heroin, right? There's hillbilly heroin. But the shit from China, man, when he brought that shit to me, we always met at La Maganette. I'd say to him, hey, Herbie, I go, you got it, right? Because we'd be sitting having some pasta and shit, like on a little table outside. And I vividly remember, I could smell the heroin. That's how strong it was. And, you know, I'd give him the 40,000. He'd give me the fucking brick, and we'd go. You know, and that was that. And we did that for a year. I made 3 or 4 buys into him. So we spent alone just the money, you know, do the multiplication. 4 times 4, that's 160,000, right? But we ended up getting good players. You know, again, I can go into a lot of other names and stuff that maybe you all know or maybe you don't, but they were like, this guy was related to like captains from the Lucchese family, you know, and a lot of high level people. So, yeah.
It's crazy how many of those guys made millions of dollars
But this
selling
guy,
heroin.
yeah, but you know what? The funny fucking thing about it is this guy Herbie, he looked like, honestly, he looked like Mr. fucking Perdue. You know, he was skinny. He had no fucking hair. He hardly had a car. So, like, for instance, he had the juice enough to get the heroin, you know. But these guys like that, like, and you'll see a lot of guys, like, they don't really have the money. They're not really the businessmen, you know. So this guy would do whatever he can to, you know, to make a dollar, you know. And I don't know what his cut was. He took off the end, you know. But then again, I on another occasion, he loved the fact because I was fucking winding down. Then I bought him a warm-up suits. I bought, you know what I mean? I gave him a case of fucking this. It all went together where it gave you like kind of credibility, you know. So that was fun. That was one of my, you know, I don't want to say best undercovers were, but it was like. It was like just fun to do because I didn't have to go to the office. You know, my one big boss, you know, you could wear sweats, you could wear shorts. I'd make phone calls from around my house now, you know, because they knew I was from New Jersey. So that was cool.
Did you ever have to be careful of like not going to that area of the city when you were just off? So like they wouldn't recognize you, or that wasn't something you were worried about?
I really wasn't worried about it. But one thing that happened, and it's a good thing that you brought this up because, again, my mind is all over the place. The thing that happened in this case, okay, is when this thing fucking went down, we locked up about 20-something people, okay? And what happened was the undercover's not allowed to be there for the takedown, obviously, because they don't want to see, like, oh, you know, I called myself Chuck, by the way, you know what I mean, when I was doing undercover. So what ended up happening, they did the takedown, and during the takedown, you know, afterwards, I came into cell blocks. And they were trying to figure out what the fuck happened, you know? And all of a sudden, Herbie saw me. And they overheard, like, someone saying, hey, Myron, come here. Herbie goes like this, I can't believe I got did by a fucking guy by the name of Myron. And I looked at Herbie because I had promised Herbie, I says, Herbie, you know, in a week or so, the Stones are around. I got fucking tickets. We're going to go. I says, well, you know what, fucking Herbie? You ain't going to the fucking Stones concert either. You know, so... yeah, but, you know, those were the kind of guys, like, we locked up, like, a lot of the older guys, they didn't really give a shit. They didn't mind doing time. You know what I mean? It was like, you know, like they go and play probably fucking dominoes or something. But then again, I just found out with Coutinho, I'm looking through some articles, he got out after doing 10 years with us. He went right fucking back in. Like a year later, he got caught in Connecticut. You know, he had a lot of ties to the Lucchese's in Connecticut. One of them was like this guy, Anthony Bawat. I mean, he's well known. You know, he was one of the captains and stuff. They were involved with, gas pipe. You remember gas pipe? He wanted to blow up fucking MDC. He wanted to escape there. He was going to do it. You know what I mean? So you can't make this shit up. I mean, when you're on a wiretap. And a lot of times I would be listening, like the first wire we did, which I didn't even get into. I mean, the shit that these motherfuckers say on the phone, I mean, you just got to laugh, you know, because they're saying, shh, don't talk, you know what I mean? But yet they're fucking telling you everything. Yeah. And I'm laughing. And back in the day, I mean, nowadays, the kids that, you know, and I call them kids because they are, the agents have everything computerized. Back in the day, I'd be on 4 fucking phones with our group. I'd be in a chair that had the wheels like this. I'd have to, like, one phone would be going off. Whoosh, I'd wheel over there, right down the other one's going off. Whoosh, wheel over there, you know. You'd be going nuts, you know, because they just talk so much, you know, and that's how you get them, you know. And that's how we did get him, and it was fun. We locked up 75 fucking people on that first case with me and Eric Stangby. Again, I want to mention him because, you know, he was my senior partner, and it was unbelievable. I mean, we started with a beeper. Back in the days, that's why it says we normally start with informants.
Right.
We backed out of a beeper. They were wearing beepers back then in Bay Ridge and Bensonhurst. We backed out of that, and we got 80 fucking guys, man. 80 fucking guys. It didn't stop. You know, I wanted the case to end because it was like, as a matter of fact, I'll tell you a story. When we did the fucking takedown, this is just a little side note. I had one group, there was one guy that was doing some shit because a conspiracy in the federal system, you're still gonna do the same amount of time. But this guy was dealing low level with this crew, but he fucking lived in, no shit. He lived under Avenue U in a fucking box, like a cardboard box. And we wrote the instructions onto all the people that when you go out and do the takedown, there's like 5 guys that go do them. We said, yeah, you're going to find this fucking guy, Matt. He's going to be in this fucking cardboard box. And lo and behold, they come back to the lockups after he goes, Myron, you were fucking right. He was in the cardboard box. And, you know, here he is involved with all these other guys and, you know.
So let me ask you this, because I get mad at my friends who, like, will text about buying weed from, like, when they don't go to a dispensary, but they'll be like, hey, do you have trees tonight? Or I'm looking for...
Yeah, you ain't
Cops
nothing.
know what that means. That's they're being stupid, right? Like if they text about like buying.
I mean,
weed.
of course, but back in the day, but nowadays, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Nobody bothers with that shit. I mean, like even back in the day, like I'm being like for federally. See, we used to do a lot of the Italians on the marijuana, but we would do them on RICOs. If you all know what a RICO is, you know you have to have 2 predicate felons. So they might be doing gambling, they might be doing prostitution, they might have had a couple of murders, and we'd bang them. And that's how actually Giuliani started this shit, you know, with the RICO. So when you get them, they're doing like just about life, and you know basically they got to flip. But nobody's bothering with that shit. I mean, it would take 1,600 pounds back in the day for me to actually have anyone do a little bit of time. But when you put that together with other charges, then it you know makes a difference.
1,600 pounds.
Yeah, that was the federal guidelines. I think for like you might get like 5 years.
5 years?
But not even that because you probably get out, you know, early. But we didn't, like I said, we did that as we did RICOs. We put that on top of other charges, you know. So,
dude, they scared us so much in school. I thought if I bought like $10 worth of weed, I was going to jail forever.
No.
Like I was scared.
Well, it's good that you were scared, to be honest with you, because you got to fear something in life.
Yeah, I
so
guess
that's
so.
good. But you know, the weed stuff. I mean, even now. I mean, everything is different now, too. So there's some jurisdictions, like I went out to L.A., and again, that goes back to the Eppolito thing, and we were doing more buys from this. It turned out to be the O.J. thing. But what ended up happening was sometimes they wouldn't even want to do the cases if you can get them 10 kilos of coke. That's how different districts work. Like Southern District and Eastern District were great. They would do whatever you wanted. But you go out to, like, when we talk about now, and I don't want to get into politics, but like California is the worst. You could do whatever the fuck you want over there, you know? So, I mean, you know, 10 kilos back in the day, they didn't even want it. But because it was a mob case and bosses called bosses, we went and me and Brizzle Airy, the guy I mentioned, we went and we bought off a couple of guys, and that was a funny story too. You know, that all came back to the OJ thing, which has been in a lot of articles that, you know, when OJ was actually driving that fucking Bronco, he was talking to Cowens, and Al Cowens called our informant because he was out, saying, how does he get out of town? You know what I mean? So a lot was spoken while he was in that Bronco, OJ. And what ended up happening was the ADA in California didn't want to use our informant. They probably thought they had enough, and like maybe he would ruin the case. But as it turns out, you know what I mean. You saw what happened. But that particular case, see, and I'm going to say it because they called OJ the snowman. Okay, because not my informant, but our informant, DEA's informant, was giving him coke. He was a big cokehead, and then in return, see, Joey Eppolito had a guy. His name was Charlie Tuna. He would run his business, and Charlie Tuna. There's a lot of Charlie Tuna. So again, but this one I remember. But he would actually go and give OJ shit on the arm. But OJ would then hook these guys up with legit customers that would want kilos in Hollywood and stuff, you know. And that's how I believe that whole thing started with OJ, you know, killing Nicole. because she was good friends with Faye Resnick. And what had ended up happening was this guy, Charlie, I think, was there that day. And he was starting shit with OJ, getting them all revved up about, hey, your girl is with this Resnick girl. They're cokeheads. They were in Mexico with some guys doing coke. And, you know, I'm just saying maybe that put him in a rage. And you know what I mean? Because then he wrote a book that if I did, you know what I mean, if I did kill her. I mean, I believe he did. But, you know, I think this also had a play in it. You know, the drugs was a big play because, I mean, to kill somebody like that, I mean, I don't know about you. I mean, I couldn't hurt a fucking squirrel. I mean, if they were coming after my family, I'm going to take care of my family. But, I mean, that was a gruesome murder. So there had to be something behind that. You know what I mean? The way he was enraged. So.
Well, I heard that 2 years after that murder, the restaurant, Mezzaluna, was closed down because of they're selling fucking keys out of that.
Yeah. I mean, I know the informant that I'm talking about, Joe, he owned 2 restaurants there, and that might have been the one. It might. I'm telling you, and I think you're right.
That's where they were.
But he didn't even give a fuck about that. Like Joey, and I knew Joey, you know, well, and, you know, from just meeting with him and stuff, but in regards to, he didn't even give a fuck about his restaurant. Like, he'd have a million of these Hollywood people come in. He didn't even want to talk to him. Cause he was good like that, you know. It was nothing to him, and that's why he said fuck it. He sold that restaurant, but you know what? He ended up getting into, you know, problems. He had to face the music, right? Because he was looking to do 15 to 18 years. He fucking escaped out of jail. That's another thing, and he went back in. But then he decided to cooperate. And you know what? I like the guy, man. I mean, I spoke to him a lot. And he was, you know, even though he did what he did, I mean, he was a nice guy. And I just talked to my partner the other day, and he loved him too. Not in a way like I love, but he was a good guy. But like he said before, and he died at home, and he was able to come home 3 years. We got him out earlier, and he called my partner Brizzolari right before he died, and he thanked him. You know, like, thank you so much for giving me, you know, the time that I could spend with my family, because he had cancer, and he ended up dying, and that was more or less could have been the last person he spoke to, you know. So again, you know what I mean? These are people. Some of them are real cruel, some of them are real bad, and you know the difference. I mean, I'm sure we all know the difference, but some of them are not bad. You know, they just get caught out there doing their thing, you know. So
hey, it's March. I got to talk about some stuff about DraftKings and some other people. Back, Jack. It's a beautiful Tuesday morning, wherever the fuck you are. Anyway, my man's still here. Myron, I want to ask him some questions about the Mexicans. Before I ask you a question, Myron, just to be honest with you, I'm a big book guy. And there's nothing I hated more than reading a book and 6 years later finding out they turned the book
into a movie.
And you go there with your dick hard, and it's completely different from what you read.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, there's a sister involved, and she's dating a midget in the basement.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
you're like, where the fuck did I come from? There's only 2 books I stand behind. Silence of the Lambs is just the way it is on book, as it is in the movie.
Great movie.
And there's another one. God damn it, it was just Sleepers.
Oh, Sleepers. I didn't see that.
Sleepers.
Silence of the Lambs was a good one.
Sleepers. But those 2 books, everything else I watch, I know where I just came from. I know people's story, and next thing you know, they rewrite it. You're fucking pissed, but they throw you another $1 million to shut your fucking mouth.
Of course.
Because if not, you're not going to have dick, okay? You told that little mistress you're going to be in Hawaii with fireworks and a pineapple. That's over. That's over. So now you go, okay, add my sister and make my mother black. It doesn't make a difference anymore. And that's it. And you don't know it until he goes on a show 15 years from now and says, did you know my mother was white? They wanted me to do that for the script, okay? So when I watch Narcos and shit, I know it's 50-60, 40-60, I'm sorry. It's 40% correct and 60% made up for your imagination. You know, I understand. So, but when I first saw the first season of Narcos,
was that with Pablo?
Yeah,
Pablo,
I dove into reading. I didn't watch the other stupid shit on Netflix. There's 82 shows. Netflix should just be the Pablo station.
Right.
Look at it. Look at it.
To be honest with you, I watched all 82.
No,
but
you didn't.
Just
Horrible.
Recently, yeah.
Horrible.
You could tell I live a fucking boring life.
No, man, but no, don't
Yeah.
get into that shit.
Yeah.
It's just the same fucking Puerto Ricans
Yeah.
over and over.
Yeah, it's hard to follow it too, man. You know what I mean?
It's hard. You don't
Yeah.
know. The best two that I recommend is I love Narcos until the last season. He shifted over to The Godfather of Harlem
Yeah.
and shit the bed completely. They just got a bunch of fucking people jumping up and down. The last season is god awful. God awful. Because I'm telling you, as a fucking fan,
Yeah.
you know what happens.
It peters out, man. You know what I mean? After a while. I mean,
Doesn't
it's
peter
redundant.
out. The writers get deals somewhere else.
Yeah.
So now it's me, you, and him. We wrote it.
Yeah.
We wrote the first 9 episodes with Pablo, and we got fucking 9 more in the can. They're going to sign us up. All of a sudden, you got a weird bug up your ass. I want to be on, one of those fucking Lifetime shows. Really? Really? We just fucking wrote something tremendous. They're going to double my pay, and I got 3 kids in college, Joey.
Yeah.
But there goes the original Jackson 5. Now we bring in 2 other guys. They don't know what the fuck. They just came from a fucking soap opera.
Yeah.
We're here trying to write about people getting mugged and gangsters, Lee,
Yes,
it's going to be all right. You want an Alka-Seltzer?
I do. I need
It's
one.
good.
What's
You
the
want
matter,
some?
bro?
of
You
it?
sick?
I got a little sniffle. I'm good. But
All right.
So I read about it. I really read about it.
Yeah.
And the other show I really like is Hota Hota.
I never
Have
saw
you ever seen that show?
What's it called?
Hota Hota?
No,
There's
but
a-
I saw. What's a good one if you're talking about drugs? Because that's what I'm here for, the drugs. But the Griselda was pretty good.
yeah, Griselda Blanco.
Yeah,
I
Yeah,
think that
Griselda-
was,
Griselda. You know what? That's actually DEA locked her up at the end.
wasn't
Yeah.
that the guy from Miami?
But that was also tremendous bullshit. First of all, if the show was going to be real, you got to get somebody look like me to play Griselda.
Well, you know what?
That woman was ugly as dog shit.
No shit, bro. You're right. I mean, in real life,
That
when
was
you saw
terrible.
this girl.
I love that girl. I
Yeah,
love
yeah.
her. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I love all her work. But that fucked up nose, she looked like a Pink Panther when he played the fucking Italian
He's
guy.
right though, man. Because honestly,
No, come
in real
on.
life, she was adored. But they
No,
had
nobody
Sophia-
did her.
Yeah.
You did her with a blindfold on, dog. You're crazy.
But she had strength, man. She was legit. I mean, be honest with you, they really were scared of her. She ran a fucking great organization. I mean, I wasn't around for those cases because DEA again did that. I know they picked her up at the end, but they were looking at her. She was doing shit in the Bronx, but she was legit, man. She made a lot of money. I mean, that's when, like you said, when the times were roaring in the '80s with Miami. That's when everything came out with Miami Vice, the Go Fast boats. You know what I mean? They were sending shit in planes and just dropping them in the water. I mean, there was so much money to be made.
I've never. There's only 2 changes that I ever saw that were dramatic. Mm-hmm. Before I get into it here with you,
Yeah, I'm gonna
there was
grab a
2
little.
changes. You came from Woodridge. You went to
Woodbridge, yeah, dude, not
Woodbridge.
Woodridge, yeah, Bridge.
So you saw changes when you were in high school, and especially if you went outside of Woodridge. We were raised in this fucking neighborhood
Right.
with your wife, so we saw, and all I remember is this: we were spending $4 a night. We would do a hit of acid, split a hit of acid, and get a 6-pack from Nick's or whatever.
Yeah.
Not Nick's, that's a pizza
Nips.
joint. The liquor store in the corner or
Nips.
something like that. And then, okay, everybody got cooler. We started eating Quaaludes. Now your night went from $4 to $4. And you drank two drinks if somebody served you, and you were good to go. Then out of nowhere, people started going, "Psst, come here. Come in the bathroom. Try this Coke." And you're like, "I'm over here at Joan Mary's on Burger Line Avenue. What am I? This ain't no discotheque." And you started, and all of a sudden everybody was cool. Everybody was doing a package between 4 people. Nobody was ODing. Nobody was jumping up and down. At 2 o'clock, people were like, "Good night, good night." There was no drama. I leave for Colorado. I come back. Oh my fucking God! People went from
Yeah.
going home at 2
Yeah.
to going home the next day.
Yeah.
Like people started going out on Friday nights and not going home till Sunday afternoon at 5. Just in time for Mom's meatballs. Like nothing happened. "What's up, Mom? Where you been?" "Dog, I got to tell you what happened. I went to a concert. What happened? What happened to your head?" It was always something. And then it just went for people going out on Mondays and staying out till Thursday. And all those Tunley Avenue hotels, My friends would rent 4 fucking rooms.
Wow.
From one side to the other. The end was a jacuzzi room, and they would just go in there. From one, and I was like, the growth of this shit.
Yeah.
When I left here, you had to really look for cocaine.
Yeah.
You had to go into the city. You had to know a cousin in Union City, something. When I came back, just on 82nd Street, there was 3 coke dealers now.
Yeah.
All you had to do is walk on Smith Avenue and, hey, did I tell you I got some coke? If you could move it for me. You're like, dog, you went to Catholic school. Yeah. I knew you as a kid. You never even had a beer. Now you're dealing coke. So the explosion.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you know, it's a money game, all of it. It all goes, it's all cyclical. Look how long, I mean, Coke is making a comeback. You know what I mean? And
It
crack.
never went away.
Yeah, no, I know.
It never went away.
No,
What
I
fucking
know, but I mean,
comeback?
everybody, come on. All these kids with the fentanyl and the heroin and stuff like that. I mean, that's been big, and that's why we're losing, you know, all these kids to really the fentanyl, you know, which, you know, it's a shame because some of these kids might try it one time and it's just unlucky, and you know, you get a couple of little pieces of fentanyl on you, and you know, if it's the bad type, you're gonna die. And we changed all our rules too with the fentanyl. Once I left and stuff, we had a whole new lab area where if you did think that you got something related to it, you would have to have special gloves on. It'd be a special room, you know, with all kind of special filtration systems in there. So the game has changed, but it's horrible how, you know, these young kids today in their 20s, you know, even older people, you know, are still doing this stuff. And it's sad. It really is truly sad because life is precious.
Myron,
you know?
it's never fucking changed
Yeah.
since 1980.
Yeah.
This has been a revolving door. I'm very fortunate to still be here.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed going over to Harlem. I enjoyed it. It was just somebody, it was who I was for a long time. But listen, when we were growing up, people were dying too.
Yeah.
You know, they were fucking going into the city, whatever. And now I wouldn't try anything out in the street. Not even, dog, when I left California, you could already tell there was an issue in a marijuana dispensary where when you ate this guy's cookies, you didn't get high. You saw fucking Pluto. And for me to see Pluto, there's got to be something in that cookie.
I'd like to.
Then there was
I need one of them cookies now.
No.
Put
Oh,
me to sleep. Like
I ate one of those cookies on a flight to Pittsburgh. My leg wouldn't stop twitching. I was sweating profusely, and my leg, it was horrible. Anyway, fuck that edible. So what I'm saying is, what I'm saying to you is that they're putting edible out of that in Mexico.
Yeah.
Because you could, God bless New Jersey. A lot of people are going to hate me for this. Because I came here and I was withdrawn on Xanax. And I thought I was going to walk into a doctor and
And
go,
get a
hey,
script, yeah.
let me get a script. The guy's like,
No, they don't prescribe that shit.
we don't give you that shit at all here. And then I had the knee surgery. And it was tough to get pain pills. Like, tough. Like, come on. I just had to. Well, we don't know. We got to contact the doctor. And he's got to contact CVS. And CVS has to call DC and see if you're on the list. And you're like, what the fuck? And then somebody told me that next time get surgery and go to Staten Island because they just go nuts out there.
Yeah,
They don't give you 28 pills. They give you 90 still.
Yeah,
Bam!
we had a group that actually just dealt with that. It was called our diversion group. So
Yeah.
if you get a script, that third copy, I believe it's pink, you know, that goes to the DEA, and they can tell by like, and not that I did, I wasn't in this group, but, you know, the pharmacists, the doctors, they were locking them up left and right because, and the pharmacists, they were getting like $500,000 cash out of their fucking apartments because that's how lucrative the business was with you know, like you said, whether it be oxys, whether it be Xanax, or Dilaudid, you know, all these things. So it's a big business.
Well, I saw some documentaries that like people who got addicted to the pills would switch to heroin because it was cheaper, which is
it's
crazy
true.
to me.
No, it is cheaper. It is.
That heroin is cheaper than a pill.
Of
Remember
course.
remember when we did heroin, Lee?
I don't know if we did heroin. When did we do heroin?
Don't worry. I got the date. I got the episode.
I can't. I can't see him doing heroin.
No, I did. I
it's
did more
just-
than you would think. But
Just
Let me-
his little marijuana joint, man.
let me ask you this, because I just moved to New York in September, and I had one guy ask me for if I wanted party supplies, but other than that, that's it.
What, like paper plates and fucking?
Who knows?
fucking, yeah.
But like, how much on a daily basis?
Yeah.
How much shit is going on in like plain sight in New York?
I mean, it doesn't even have to be New York. It's all over. I mean, like you said, I mean, even with the marijuana, the dispensaries, I mean, I got places in town where I live. You go in there and get what you want. The other stuff, I mean, I'd be honest with you. I haven't been in a big city since I've been retired. I hate to say that. I have no interest in going back to New York, man. And again, that's just me because, to be honest with you, man, I had enough of it. You know, I'm living in a small town now and, you know, by the beach somewhere, and it gets boring, but, you know, some of these big cities and the people around them, whether they're doing drugs or it's something else, they're fucking nuts. People are nuts today. You know what I mean? Because you got to remember, there's different cultures out there, right? They're coming from different countries. You see what's going on. I mean, actually, a guy I work with who's now in the head of the DEA, and I'll mention his name, Derek Maltz. You know, he's on TV all the time, and he's out there in Colorado sending all these guys back to Venezuela and doing all these cases and stuff, you know. But, I mean, I'll be honest with you, those are some dangerous people. I mean, you know, we could laugh in here and be like, you know, but they'll do whatever, you know. They'll do whatever, these people, because they don't give a fuck, you know? Yeah.
How we get to the fucking Venezuelans?
I don't know how we got there. Because what they're doing is they had that one gang from Venezuela. Now, that was causing, you know, they want to start shipping these guys out, obviously. You know,
Right.
We got a new guy in there, Trump, and he's saying, hey, you know, you got to be legal to be here. And they're going after the people they're causing, you know, havoc, that are dealing drugs, that have records and stuff. And they're easy to find, you know what I mean? Because they let you know where they're at. They're that dumb, you know? So,
But it's crazy how the Pablo Escobar stuff was good to me.
yeah.
Like, I enjoyed it as entertainment. The one that really got to me was when the Mexicans started selling the weed, and then in the middle they go, "Fuck you, let's put some cocaine."
I
in
know
this
I
bitch."
know what you're talking about. Yeah.
And I went and read up on the people, and
Yeah.
you know, I was blown the fuck away
Yeah.
with the money they were making, and
Yeah.
they made a big mistake when they killed, rest in peace.
Yeah, our guy. Yeah.
Yeah, Kiki Camarena.
Kiki Camarena. That's a matter of fact. Recently, he was just in the news. You know,
Right, 2
because
weeks ago or something.
What had ended up happening was they got one of his torturers, and again, the name escapes me.
Miguel, Miguel.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
when they brought him to arraignments, you know, they put Kiki Camarena's cuffs on him, which, you know, I mean, you know, okay, you know what I mean. It's sad that we lost the agent. It was a while ago, but. They got him, you know what I mean? And that was a great thing. And it, you know, at least gives the people, you know, from DEA anyway to say, hey, listen, we got you guys. And Kiki's cuffs are on you. And now you're going to do your time, probably rot in jail, you know, which is a good thing. But Mexico's a whole nother story, man. You know, like Mexico, you know, like they kicked us out of the country for like a year or so because, I mean, it's so crooked. You know, even like when I used to back in the day go to Cancun, Acapulco, I did a lot of fucked up things when I went on vacation. You know what I mean? I mean, Johnny's over here too. I mean, he remembers a couple of stories we did. But I tell you, man, you go out there. I remember I went to this place. They said I was all fucked up, you know, drinking beers all night. I was with a guy by the name of Pete. Make a long story short, I go, I want to go to like a go-go joint, you know. I was sick of seeing all these young kids, whatever. I was only 24, and I get in a taxi, and they go Chili Willy's, you know what I mean? And I go, yeah, let's go to fucking Chili Willy's, you know. I get into a taxi, me and Pete. And I'm bombed, man. And I'm drinking beer in the taxi. And I'm whipping beer bottles out of the fucking taxi. That was stupid, you know. We ended up getting a Chili Willy's. I go to the front door. And there's two fucking big Mexican guys, but they were carrying machine guns. And they had the fucking bandolier, you know, the bullets all over here. I looked at Pete, and, you know, I kind of sobered up a little bit. And I'm like, hey, you want to go in here? Fuck it, we're here. We go in. It was the nastiest fucking bar. They had girls up there. They were nastier than that girl, Griselda, you know what I mean? Griselda face and shit. And I remember I had to take a shit so bad because I was drinking that Mexican beer. I went in the bathroom and there was no like doors or anything, you know, just a fucking like, I don't know, something you shit in. I don't even know what you call it. I fucking just lowered my ass over the bowl. You know what I mean? I let it explode because I don't even think there was toilet paper there. I don't know what the fuck I did. But I know when I got out of that fucking bathroom, I says, Pete, he goes, what? It's time to fucking go. You know what I mean? And I look back at that day and I say to myself, man, that was stupid. Because normally what the cops would do, they see younger kids and whatnot, and it happened to some of my family members. They'll pull you over and they'll want whatever's in your pocket, $300, $400, $500. You know, getting back to it, they don't make no money there. You know that, and that's
don't
why
make any money.
they don't make no money. That's why they were all crooked. You know, even during, you know, with Pablo, he bought whatever he wanted to buy. He owned. He was the man. He owned everything. You saw the movie. That's legit.
No, but I read up on that.
No, but
shit.
some of the shit they showed in the movie was a little like I'll even say so. Like with the DEA guys, they weren't doing all that shit.
Right.
You know what I mean?
No.
You know what I mean? I mean, you know, but they were there and they did a very good job.
I forget what the bottom line was.
Yeah.
The bottom line was just unbelievable.
Yeah.
It was an amount that you could not even fathom coming into your home every fucking week. And the more money he made, the more he paid out. He took care, he did what the fuck he wanted to. I remember I was reading something online about him one night that I was just blown the fuck away.
Yeah.
Just the thing that he built his own prison.
Oh, that happened, man.
That
That's
happened.
legit.
I was just starting comedy in '91, and I remember it would come up on the news that they're building the prison for this fucking guy. And I remember like even writing a joke. I didn't even know who the fucking guy was. I wrote like some
Pablo was
stupid
big.
joke and bombed. Yeah, like he opened up a hotel,
Yeah.
and it was funny because Boulder, where I was, the county jail was voted the #2 county jail in the country. It was clean, sanitized.
Yeah.
They gave you cigarettes. They had cable TV.
Wasn't like Chili Willy's, man.
No,
No,
it
that
was
was a
not like
whole,
Chili
man. I still
Willy's.
remember that.
But I'm going to tell you just in perspective, I'm a fucking nut, okay? And when you add an addiction to a nut, it's never good. And I'm going to be honest with you motherfuckers, and you can either believe me or not. I worked El Paso as a comic. The first night they came to me and they said, we're going to Mexico. You coming? I was a little apprehensive. And I went in the daytime,
Yeah.
and that was enough for me.
Yeah.
And then I worked San Diego one time, and I went to that side of Mexico, and that was okay for about an hour at night. And I'm like, it's time to go.
Yeah,
and I like
man.
crazy shit. I'm all in. I'm all in for yells in the night and people screaming, but that was just a little too out there for Uncle Joey. And I just came home, and then I went back down there with my wife when we were dating. A bunch of people were going to go down to Mexico. We got lost, dog. It was the worst. It cost me like $2,000 to get out of there in fucking nickels, because that's all I had. Every Mexican had nickels. I was giving out nickels like fucking, I swear to God, I just had an ashtray and the center thing, and it was all like nickels and dimes because they don't work on the fucking
And the
things
the
in
kids would shake you down too.
Yeah,
over
the
there.
kids shake
you
you
come out of there
down.
and they go chicle.
Yep,
And they
chicle.
start like going like this, like they're trying to get your fucking wallet. So you got to honestly, you got to like got to backhand them, man.
Steroids.
Yeah.
And I'm
Well,
like,
you get whatever you want at the
and I'm like,
pharmacy.
even if I buy this, how am I going to get over? That's my biggest thing. I'm not a fucking smuggler. I've never been a smuggler. I don't mind. You give me an ounce of weed, I'll take it to Jersey. That's for me. I'd rather get caught than have to be out in the street in some fucking stupid weed store. Let them, well, the turbines, go fuck yourself. It's 22%. It smells like my dog shit. Get the fuck out of here. I'm sorry.
That's all right, man. No, it's-
But anyway,
yeah. So
you
you're
know-
talking about Mexico. You're talking about Pablo, right?
I'm talking more about Mexico, how
Yeah.
they did it,
Yeah.
how they, went to the Colombians and said, we're going to be your transport.
Yeah.
They pretty much locked them out. It was, it was fucking brilliant. Like when
Yeah.
you look at these guys, it's a shame they became criminals.
Well, because they were in the right business to make the money, but sooner or later they were going to get caught. If they spent that energy on a fucking legit business, even to keep it to weed, you know what I mean, it wouldn't have been a problem. But getting back to Mexico again, I was a senior partner too, and I'm going to bring up another name because, he deserves it, Pete Gudowitz. He's the one that indicted El Chapo. So I was his senior partner. If you see when he comes off the plane, you'll see like two DEA guys. The taller one with the glasses is Pete. And he worked hard on that case, and that was a rough case because a lot of people had him indicted. But they always bring these people to the big house. The big house would be New York. So they gave they arraigned him in New York. You know what I mean? So, but there was another guy. You know what I mean? El Chapo, and
That dude was like a fucking magician.
yeah,
Was he not? He was getting out of prisons with a suit on and shit.
yeah.
Like, what happened to El Chapo? We don't sorry.
Yeah, they were
Nobody
building
knew
tunnels.
nothing,
He was the tunnel
building
guy.
tunnels, and but I did read something. This motherfucker was buying up land
Yeah.
and digging tunnels underneath from the U.S. side to the Mexico side.
Well, he thought about that. That was unbelievable because
all this shit is like,
yeah.
you know, you're like, all right, I'll eat a bunch of pellets and shove the rest up my ass. Meanwhile,
Those are
this guy's
horrible,
buying a house from the other house, and it's like they dug underneath where they put roller skates on it with a fucking thing that you push. I'll tell you bueno, and they push it.
Yeah.
And it gets to the other side, and that's it. You know, who thinks it was simplicity?
Well, how the fuck could you even think about a tunnel and the way they built it, even to get him out without? Well, I mean, the thing about it is they were making a lot of noise for the prison, so they were all paid off.
Right.
I mean,
No,
you can't tell me that they ain't hearing like fucking people blowing, you know, or even picking shit out. I mean,
Come on.
you know, so yeah, but you know, getting back to what you're saying, like how the Mexicans with the Colombians. I mean, back in the day when I first came on in the '80s and stuff, it was the Colombians. You know, especially in New York. You know what I mean? And that's where I was doing my stuff. But the Mexicans are a lot more powerful in regards to. I got to say, they got bigger conads, they got bigger balls. You know what I mean? So if you fucked up with the Mexicans, honestly, they were really they tortured people. Like they were ruthless. You know what I mean? You had some Colombians like that, but a lot of times the Colombians would be little, no disrespect, little motherfuckers. You know what I mean? And they got their business suits on. You know what we used to do to the Colombians back in the day when I first came on? We would go to Queens, right? And they would have all payphones, and we would know what payphones they used because they had so much fucking money from Pablo and stuff. You know what I mean? And we would know they would be carrying a suitcase, so we would just randomly go up there, take their fucking suitcase, and what's in that suitcase? $2-3 million, and you know what? Once you took it from them, they just fucking ran. We let them go. You know what I mean? We just take the money, and again, it goes into a big kitty for the Department of Justice and stuff. And I never did anything fucked up. Like there are guys that did do that, but you know what I mean. And they got a lot of them got caught. But there was a lot of money, and the problem with drugs is, what do I do with this money? Where does it go? Because you guys like us and shit, I don't know what people make here or whatever, but you got a couple of dollars, you feel good about yourself. Imagine having enough money to fill up fucking 3 of these fucking places here. What are you going to do with it? What do you do with the money? You don't even know where to put it. That's why, I mean, even now, they have the Chinese laundering their money. And what the Chinese do, and you can see it, is they've been buying up a lot of real estate. You know what I mean? And it's crazy because think about us going to China and getting real estate and buying a house or something. It ain't happening. You ain't coming to China. But yet, politically here, we let everybody come here, unvetted. They come in and they're buying places with this illegal money. And
they're growing weed, brother.
Yeah.
They're buying farms.
Yeah, they're growing by
and
military.
growing fucking weed. Like, they got it down
this
to
is
a
happening.
science.
Yeah.
And nobody gives a fuck, so I'm not smoking weed no more, so you know me, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm not smoking that commie weed. I like Chinese people, I'm cool, but
Yeah. I like the lunch specials, man.
it's really like that dude that they just brought back. He was one of the leaders. That's the dude that was in charge and it's so weird looking back at it. And this was 30 years ago. This is like, you look at this shit, you go, wow. I kind of remember this. Like, I remember the bust in Stockton. That big bust in Stockton. I kind of remember that.
Yeah.
And me going, somebody's getting backhanded right now.
Yeah.
That's a lot of fucking coke in that warehouse. You know?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you got to think about it like this, though. And I'll tell you, you got to remember all these products, whether it be heroin, coke, marijuana, they're all plants. So we had groups back in the day, back in the 80s, we called them Operation Snowcap. Matter of fact, we lost some guys come out of a helicopter and whatnot, and they're plants. So what happens when you fucking exterminate them? They just grow more. You know what I mean? So it's like you really can never stop it because you remember, they're plants, right? I mean, you just got to find a location and whether it be coke, right? Coca paste and, however way they make it and the heroin. I mean, there's all kind of heroin, but it's always going to be there, like you said. Like you were saying about it's going on, it went on back then too. Yeah, it did because they're plants. They're always going to be available and you're going to always make money. You're always going to make money on them, right? You're going to. Because we have a society that really wants this stuff, like even alcohol, you know what I mean? I know I'm getting off tangent here a little bit, but it's the same thing. People get addicted. there's addictions, and sometimes it's hard to break,
I remember Lee asked a question before, and I'm going to answer it. Lee, one of the main reasons I left this area was because, how far are you from New York City right now?
10, 15 minutes?
I was 15 minutes away from any drug I wanted to buy. At whatever time you wanted to buy it. If you want something at 3 in the morning, you'll find it in New York City. You have to walk a few blocks. You might get mugged, but you'll find it.
That's great.
And it's, and that's the scary thing to me. That in those days, from keep going over there, you bump into more and more people. Who are you going to bump into in New York City at 3:30 in the morning? You're going to bump into a stockbroker or a fucking army recruiter.
No.
You're bumping into people trying to fucking scam people.
Yeah.
And now you're talking to people like, hey, dog, if you ever need a 45 or any guns, I got you. I'm 19 years old, and you're asking me if I want to buy a fucking gun. Now, that sits in the back of your mind. If I ever get into a beef, I'll be over the bridge getting a gun for $1.25. Whatever the fuck, whatever the fuck it is. That's how accessible that city was. I can't imagine what it is today. I got to guarantee that there's not as many spots as there were when I was growing up, but there's got to be something happening in Washington Heights.
Oh, yeah.
And there's got to be something happening in the Bronx and all the other things. It's not as visible,
Right.
But the scary thing is downtown.
Really?
Because downtown, I know a guy named Tony, or that's what he tells me his name is. He tells me to send me his driver's license as long as that's his address. From now on, I'm your delivery guy. Call me 24 hours a day. Something will be there in a half hour. I will send you a menu every day. You will not look at the prices. You're already paying $4,000 a month for rent.
Right.
You're already going dead anyway. You might as well pay the prices. He's going to have an 8-ball of Coke for you there. In 1 hour, the best shit you ever bought. That's the business. That's what I assume.
Right.
That's what I'm assuming, that there's got to be an app now. I ain't that fucking, I'm an old man, but I'm just thinking about some Chinese kid in the city that loves to jump up and down with the lights and all that stuff.
Right.
He's got an app somewhere that you buzz. This guy gets buzzed here, and every day the code changes. That's how slick these kids are today. Don't tell me.
The kids are so slick. I mean,
Slick.
But
Slick.
even, and it still goes on in the Heights. I mean, I remember when we first started doing the Heights, and it was just easy. We had a lot of informants there. Make a long story short, man, they had the kids working on the corners with walkie-talkies. So as soon as you came on the fucking block, they know you're 5-0. They know you're whatever. So what we used to do is get like maybe a Spanish guy. I'd be in the back of a van. He'd park the fucking van. The van might say like painting or plumber or whatever. And I'd sit in the back of the van like they wouldn't think anyone's in there. So then you could take pictures and see what's what. But the kids, even at the ages of 11, 10, you know what I mean? And the stash houses. I mean, we had special guys that used to basically know how to infiltrate any kind of special trap they might have, because it was like really fucked up, really crazy traps that these guys think of. I mean, unbelievable. You know what I mean?
I was there the summer of '93 when there were kids on the roof and a cop was walking, uniform cop, and they dropped a bucket of spackle on him.
Oh, yeah.
I'll never forget that, and I remember it was tight. But it's interesting. In 1993, I used to go to a place, I mean, it was like stealing. You just had to get over the bridge. And you made a left, and you went right in that place, and you double parked your car. Cops would even go right past you.
Yeah.
Beep, beep. And you parked. Somebody went into the building. You rang the bell, 503, come on up. You went on up there, and there was a guy sitting there with a gun and a bag of blow. 2 bags of blow.
Yeah.
One was for 25 a gram, and one was for 35 a gram. He gave you a taste of it, and you had to make your choice. If you busted them, that's all they had on them was 2 ounces, maybe a little less at that point. They're going to be out in an hour, these guys. They already had it down to a science. Now I see these weed stores that open up in L.A., and they put their whole inventory on the wall. When the feds show up, they lose everything. And I'm like, Those Colombians had a point. They only showed you what you needed to see.
Right, right.
You need that? Give me 10 minutes. And they make a call, and it's around the corner, hidden in somebody's fucking Corvette, or whatever the fuck it is.
Oh, it's difficult, even for us it was, in regards to trying to find, where the stuff is. First off, everyone's a bullshitter. I mean, like, I got the money. Nobody had the fucking money. You want to see the dope first, you know what I mean? Whether it be coke, heroin, or whatever. And that's the games we would play. I mean, sometimes we would flash them. I actually was giving the guy 40,000, but sometimes we would have, like, flash rolls. But really, like, cops only flash money. You know what I mean? That's what I always say. Like, for instance, a cop will show you money, like, to think he's legit. But the real fucking bad guys, if you're good, you get the shit on the arm. You know what I mean? Like, for instance, like, if you got juice, you're going to give me 10 kilos, you're going to trust me. So, I mean.
Just like that.
Well, yeah, because it's not a lot of people trust anybody. I mean, even today or back in the day. I mean, I'm talking 10, 15, 20 years ago. Yeah, it was hard to do these cases. You really had to have good people that infiltrated these organizations, whether it be the Heights, whether it be the mob guys, whether it be the Mexicans. I mean, you had to have, like, serious guys that had connections, you know what I mean? You just can't go in there and, do whatever the fuck you want to do. No, it doesn't work like that. The people don't trust people, But, money does talk. What's the old saying? Money talks, bullshit walks, man. Like I said, when I was giving them the 40 G's and it went the first time, they were like, fuck, this guy ain't no cop. And I did it 2 more times, 3 more times, right? And he ain't no cop. Until the end, when motherfucker's a cop, None of that.
You don't even figure it out so that you got the handcuffs on. And once they put you in that cell, not on the drive, but in that cell to wait for your arraignment or whatever the fuck you're waiting on, you just sit there like, God damn it, I never figured it out, that motherfucker. You start thinking about shit, where you fucked up. But you were too high. You were too caught up in what you were doing. You got caught up in walking into the club and there's VIP. You just get caught up.
Yeah.
And you make dumb mistakes. I did it. That's all that happens.
Everybody does. I mean, even the best guys. I mean, we, like I says, in regards to what we locked up, people, you wait. It's like a stock, you're waiting on this fucker. You buy whatever. You buy, I don't know, Tesla and shit. You want to buy low, sell. You got to hold it. You got to wait. You got to have patience. And people fuck up. When you're on wire, sometimes you might have to be on a wire 3, 4, 5 months before they make one fuck up. That one fuck up will put you on another line, and then you're going, bro. And then you got a talker. And then all of a sudden, boom, you're like, holy fuck, you're meeting with the attorneys, you know what I mean? Oh, we got this amount. We're going to lock up this. We're going to seize this. We're going to take that. The game is patience, too. But everybody makes mistakes. So, I mean, in the end, like he says, people can go 15, 20 years. They got all the money in the world. And then that one day comes and you're fucked. It's like these guys now you're talking about. I mean, I know El Chapo, you know what I mean? He's done. You know what I mean? His family's done. I think his son tried to come into the business. He's done now. His wife, it's new people come on the block.
Just like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's all done. You're done. You know what I mean? You had your ride. And it's over.
Didn't El Chapo get caught because he did an interview for a movie, about him? It was like something stupid.
He got caught because, there was a movie like that, but that was
Sean Penn.
Yeah, I thought, but that's whenever I watch a movie like that or hear about something like that, to think about someone building a case against you and you have no idea. For months or years, and they're building a case, and you just are going about your life as normal.
They weren't even building the case. They already had him by the balls. They were just finding that.
Well, just anybody, just like any.
They were
criminal.
just finding that motherfucker.
You know what it was. Not only it was find him, but the other thing too is do they want to give him up? Do they want to extradite him? That's the whole game. When we were playing, when we were trying to play nice with the Mexican government and stuff like that, they'll give you some things, but then they won't give you everything. Like I said, it all goes back to money. Life always goes back to money. You know what I mean? And that's what it is. These guys are making so much money off these guys. Even if you're a top politician in Mexico, this guy's giving you $5-6 million. You're going to listen to some American DEA guy or some, you know what I mean, I don't know, cabinet member.
Who Lisa Ann is? Never heard of it. No, sorry. Anybody Lisa Ann? No. Trae Colombia. Bye.
Right.
They don't know nothing down there. That's why, listen, I don't have a passport. And there's times when I'm still living in L.A., people go, I get you in. And I'm like, not in a million. Yeah. I ain't going in there undocumented. There's no fucking way. They do some nasty shit down there. Yeah, it's cute. You get great burritos. I'm okay. I'm good. I just didn't trust it.
Yeah.
There was something about Mexico. And, dog, I was a coke fiend and didn't trust it. There's no reason to go to Mexico and get coke. Snort it, they're going to rob you. And what, are you going to bring it over that fucking bridge? Now you're going to do 55 years. Just to go. No, leave me alone. I can find it in San Diego.
How frustrating is it from like your point of like the agents, like the politics of it? Like someone gets away because of like a mistake or like, you know, like just the politics of it. Does it piss you guys off?
The politics plays a big part. It actually played a bigger part with the and I have a lot of friends that are first grade detectives that are retired now, but the reason why they retired, probably like when I retired, is, you know, when you start locking up people and, for instance, they got 2 guns on them and then the ADA's letting them out fucking like a week later. You know, that's what hurts. You know what I mean? Because then, you know, like drugs is one thing and that kills people, but you know, guns, I mean, come on, man, you know what I mean? And you see what happens when these kids or guys go back on the street. They're doing harm. And you know what? It frustrates you, you know what I mean? Because you could take the fact that, you know, okay, I was going after this drug deal, I didn't get them. There's a lot of guys I didn't get, our group didn't get, but, you know, eventually somebody will get them. But a lot of the times they weren't really hurting anybody. There's certain ethnicities, I hate to say, but like, you know, that really will hurt you. Like the Mexicans will hurt you. You know what I mean? The Jamaicans will hurt you. You know what I mean? You know, Italian guys, they that's business to them. You know, these guys like Sammy the Bull, and you know, I know he's out doing his shows now, and you know, a lot of these guys, they were doing things to their own people. You know what I mean? And you know, you got to expect that in the game of life. You know, if you're going to hurt somebody that's a drug dealer, well, they're going to hurt you back. You know, is it fair? I don't know. I guess it is. You know, but when you start hurting innocent people and kids and bullets start flying, that's when you got to draw the line. And, you know, like what happened with our agent, you know, Hatcher, you know, this guy, you know, he was out of control, right? And he ended up killing him over what? Because he was high and, you know, he just wanted to do what he wanted to do. I mean, Faraci. And again, me and my partner, Eric Stangby, we locked up the guys that, Mario Gallo was one of them on that first case I did, and Jimmy Gallione. Now, these guys were the ones responsible for killing Gus Faraci. They killed him, you know, because of this. And when we locked them up on the drug charges, we also superseded with the murder on Faraci. So they did their time. They're out, and I think who knows where they are now. But that's the only guy. I mean, I'll say Mario Gallo was one of the guys, and it's just a name you guys don't know. But when we locked all these motherfuckers up, he was the only guy that basically said to me, "Go fuck myself." He's not cooperating. You know what I mean? And I shook his hand. And I said, like, "Wow, you know, all right, I'll leave you the fuck alone." You know what I mean? And he did his time. The other guys, no, they right away. I mean, I was moving one guy, and these guys are all over. You know, they're all in these podcasts and these YouTube shows that they got these guys hosting these shows, and they're talking about mob related things and whatnot. And I know it's sexy and people like that, but the reality of it is, man, you know, it's a dangerous game, and it's a shame that, like I said, when you're a young kid and you get involved in this shit, and you're going to do 20, 25 years for what? You know what I mean? I don't know. You know, jail is fucking horrible. I started as a corrections officer. It's horrible to be in jail. You know what I mean? It sucks. You know,
nothing like a man kicking your bed, and telling you to
get the fuck up, right?
You don't know what that.
We're ready to eat. You know, let's go, motherfucker.
What
right?
Eat? They would kick the fucking bed and tell you to get the fuck up and put the light on, and your first instinct is grab him by the neck.
Yeah.
And you just got to sit there and go, "What the fuck was that?"
Yeah.
know? So that was enough for me. But I got to ask you something. Mm-hmm. Listen, I don't know where I would have ended up. I love smoking pot, and then the 80s came along, and I'm not going to blame the death on my mom. I have a mind, and I can make my own decisions. But I saw what drugs did. I saw people getting high and taking hits of mescaline and drinking. They were fine. And then there were the idiots up. There was always a patch in North Bergen that did heroin, whatever. But all of a sudden, I saw this community just get taken by cocaine, and that's, never mind West New York, Union City.
Right.
That was that's where they were cleaning it down there. It was just, so it's kind of weird how for fucking 50 years, right, 84, when was Reagan in?
Early 80s, yeah.
You know, his wife went on, and we're going to fight the war on drugs.
Yeah.
What the fuck has happened?
It happens quick, man. You know, it gets out of control. Listen, again, it goes back to money. There's so much money to be made because there's a lot of people that are depressed out there. There's a lot of people that, you know, are just in a bad way. And, you know, for whatever reason, that might be their cup of tea, whether it's drinking, whether it's this. And, you know, you're always gonna find it's never gonna end. But somebody's got to be there, and I'll say like the DEA, NYPD, all other cops, someone's got to be there to make them know that there are repercussions and there is a risk, you know? So you always got, you know what I mean? You just can't let, like a lot of people legalize this, legalize that. Nah, I understand the marijuana. I don't have a problem with that at all.
I do at some stages.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that some other time.
Yeah.
Lee, what were we going to say?
No, I was actually going to ask about that, because there are some cities that have completely
the marijuana is
decriminalized it.
done. That's it. It's either legal. Who's got the nerve to take a joint off you when you're in a fucking rental car and bring you in? Unless you act like an asshole or have alcohol in your breath.
Right.
Then anybody would bring you in. But forget about the marijuana. Look at all the synthetic stuff they're bringing in. You got meth that's making a comeback. Meth is never gone.
Yeah.
Like my buddies or whatever
Yeah, I got
in
you.
L.A., and he told me, he goes, during the pandemic, I sold a bunch of coke. When the pandemic ended, it became meth.
Yeah.
It was meth by the fucking ton. I couldn't even get it in on time.
Because they're making meth also in the Midwest with a lot of like things you can buy at the pharmacy. You know, it's like hillbilly shit. You know what I mean? They actually, there's been so many times where they're cooking, and they're blowing themselves up. You know what I mean? All of a sudden, someone opens the door and the whole meth lab explodes. I mean, you know, it's nuts. It's nuts, man.
It's just, you know, you sit here now, 30 years, and listen, I was a consumer. You know, I remember when Nancy Reagan said that, I'm like, man, you better start snorting coke.
Yeah.
Because of the war on drugs, you better get as much as you can.
Yeah.
Because it's real, cocksuckers, and it never ended.
Yeah.
And then, listen, I really love smoking marijuana. I can't do it anymore.
God bless you, man.
I
you know?
enjoyed it as a kid. Thinking back, it just took away that piece of anxiety.
Yeah.
Just did something.
Yeah.
Whatever.
It made you feel, you turned the button a little
I
bit on
didn't
you.
like drinking. I loved that. You know, I could fall asleep at night.
Yeah.
Did I think? I always thought buying marijuana is getting your check on Friday,
Yeah, getting a bag.
stopping at the liquor store, and then stopping at Benny Blanco's house and getting an eighth for $90. And
Would you say
putting it-
Benny Blanco?
Yeah.
From the Bronx?
Yeah, and putting it in your trunk
That was a good movie.
and driving home in fear. Like that you might get pulled over. That was the whole thing. Now we walk into a store. Hi, how are you? Let me see your ID. Oh my God. Returning customer or first time?
You know what? It's fucking funny you say that because I'm not going to get into names again, but for someone's 60th birthday party, first time I ever went in as a DEA guy, I went to a town down the shore, and it's a big place. And long story short, again, I go there. I'm a little nervous. I mean, but it's like fucking legit. You can go in there. So, no, what does Myron do? He pulls in the parking lot. I'm surveilling the place. Is this legit? Who's going in there? You know what I mean? Okay. I walk in there. It's like you're at Best Buy. I go to the fucking counter. How are you? Where's your license? No problem. Now go through these other two doors. I go through these other two doors. Now I'm in a fucking assembly line. It's like the DMV. You know what I mean? And I'm behind a whole bunch of people. Then all of a sudden, guy goes like this, over here. I go, okay. I go, I'm looking to buy some, marijuana for a birthday present. You know what I mean? He goes, well, and I go, I don't know what the fuck you got here. What do you think? I don't want to kill the guy and shit. He goes, well, I would try this. And I go, this is the first time I've done this. I says, I used to be a fucking DEA guy. And we used to lock people. He goes, DEA, you get 25% off. I go, holy shit. I says, nice, But it was like... I'll be honest with you, it was fucking funny because, like, wow, you know what I mean?
Thought?
What's that?
Who would have fucking thought?
And the guy was like, it was almost like, hey, park closed, you know what I mean? Like Wally World, remember that fucking show? It was like the guy looked just like that. I was laughing. I went home, told my wife, I said, I took care of him. I got 25% off. Yeah.
Plantopia has a drive in it. You go online, order it, and you go to the window, and you don't have to get out of your fucking car.
Yeah, nice.
Okay, and then it's you have to pay cash. That's the only thing they haven't. They don't have the ATM set up.
Yeah,
but
cash
they're
is
open
king,
at
man.
7 a.m.
Yeah.
For you fucking early birds.
Wow.
And for you insomniacs, they close at 11.
Yeah.
And then midnight or 1 on the weekends. Are you fucking kidding me?
Holy shit, that's big business, man.
That means 10:30, you got nothing to do. All of a sudden, 11 o'clock, The Exorcist coming on. Fuck it. I'll take a run to ShopRite, drive through the weed store. Ba, ba, da, ba.
Yeah, I still can't watch that show. That scares the shit
Which
out of me.
one? The
Yeah,
Exorcist?
that's one. Of the,
But
I tell
meanwhile,
you.
you see a guy get hit in the head with a golf club and there's blood on the fucking
Yeah,
wall.
no, that don't bother me. But I'm telling you what,
that don't bother me.
no, the Exorcist one that bothers me. As a
Myron,
kid, I
have you
remember.
considered writing a book? I know you're retired now, and you can't sleep, and you won't go to
that's
yoga.
the fucking problem. Did you ever think
That's
about
the
writing a
problem.
book?
You need to start writing a book.
Yeah, there's a
You're
lot of
an
little
interesting guy. Get
Well, thank
yourself a
you.
little security job where
Yeah.
you just watch a guy walk from point A to point B.
Yeah.
Listen, you're on your own. They start shooting, I don't know nothing. All right?
Well, I got to say one thing besides the DEA, you know what I mean? And I know Johnny, I brought a friend over here, Johnny. He could tell you stories, man. We had the best times in our lives. We always had shore houses. He still had them up until last year. He just purchased a house. But, I mean, the shit we seen and the shit we did is... I mean, I could write a book about that. Never mind the fucking DEA. He could tell you stories about fucking vacations we went on that... I mean,
What did you specialize in the DA? Like
I
what
mean,
division? You were everywhere.
I was
Drugs?
first. We were mob guys. We worked the mob, and I did that for years. And then, it was just then like a knockaround kind of group where we did whatever, which turned out to be some mob guys too. And then I ran at the end of my career. My last 5 years, I ran asset forfeiture. I had like 35 people under me. But like, for instance, when we do all these cases, long story short, if we take airplanes, we take your money, we take fucking everything. We take horses, we take cars. I can go on, gold bars, coins, stocks, and they all come through me, through my group. And we were going to Brinks once a week. And I kid you not, in the 5 years I was doing it, every week there'd be at least $2 million in cash that we would have to take to the Brinks. And we'd have to have 2 or 3 guys go, so nobody could, you never know, somebody might get a tip on us and, try to fucking steal the money. You know what I mean? So I ran asset forfeiture, which was it was a slowed down pace, but it got to be too crazy. And then I said, let me pull up the stakes because of the things I said with the way just law enforcement was going. And I've been there over 30 years. So I think that was enough blood to give, you know what I mean? I could have done more, but, I was tired. Now I'm fucking tired and I can't sleep.
Do me
So
a
I
favor.
might have to take you up on one of these fucking Slim Jim
these
things you
magic
got.
things? You'll be out for 2 days, happy as a pig and shit.
I tell you what, as
Your
long
wife
as somebody
will-
wakes me up every 4 hours to eat,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? I gotta fucking eat.
Nah, we got one of those piss tubes
Oh.
that you take home. We'll just push you onto the mattress. And,
I like the piss tubes. If you
Yeah.
just,
Oh, yeah.
I asked Johnny before. I had to take a squirt before. He had a can. Back in the day when we were on surveillance, man, we couldn't get out and piss, so we'd piss in, like bottles. I didn't piss in front of your place here if there's any cameras, but I did across the street. Right, dude?
Myron, whenever you decide to write a book,
Yeah.
let me know.
All right.
I'll hook you up with a girl that's really good.
Oh, yeah?
You got some good stories. Why fucking sit there like a
Yeah.
baboosh? Guys like you can't fucking retire.
You know what? This
I've
is
been around you for 3 hours. I'm
Hey.
like, this motherfucker, what retire? You still got a lot of life left to you.
Yeah, I know.
You're not
I
ready to
feel
go
it.
to South Carolina
No.
and to sit there.
Although I
and-
do like Charleston, it was nice, but yeah.
you know what? I like Hawaii too.
Yeah.
But that don't mean I'm flying there tomorrow to sit and look at a beach.
I agree with you,
We're
man.
not PI 100.
Yeah.
We're not going to move to the beach and arrest people. So
Yeah,
just-
I'm glad I got out of the house. You got me out of the
Yeah,
house.
I
I
gotta
know my
get-
wife probably said, "Hey, get this fucking
No,
guy out of
no,
here."
no.
But
I was just sitting
I'm glad I
there
got
one
out.
day, and I told Myron I wanted to get him on and talk to him about whatever, and here we are.
Yeah.
Not
So-
blowing smoke up your ass. You're an interesting fucking
I
dude.
appreciate that. I
I
mean,
know you had to keep some of the names and dates, to protect
yeah, I
the
mean,
innocent.
so like I said, my memory has to be jarred a little bit. But again, I thank you all, for inviting me. You're a good group of guys here, and I tell you what, it brings back a lot of memories.
Yeah, good. I'm happy we got you out.
Thank you.
We'll
Yeah.
give you an edible on the way out, and then
Oh.
panada.
Good.
You'll be tipped
nothing
top
with
fucking
caffeine in it, bro.
Listen, those Spanish people, they know how to cook.
Oh,
You
absolutely.
just pass the fuck out. They put Xanax
Oh.
or something Mexican. The Cubans put something in there.
Yeah.
You fall asleep eating the empanada.
Klonopins and fucking, right, the Valiums and...
No, they put something in their fucking food, the Cubans.
Yeah.
1 minute you're home eating empanada, next minute you wake up at 4 and Telemundo's on. You know what I'm saying? People are fucking going back and forth with maracas. You're like, what happened?
I just wanted to give one little shout out. I mean,
ahead,
because
bro.
I was talking about a lot of these cases, and when we first started bringing the cases to Eastern District, the mob cases, it was AUSA over there by the name of Jim Walden, and Jim Walden's running for mayor now for New York as an independent, and he's a very good guy, very knowledgeable, and I wish him well, and I just wanted to throw his name out there. He's got his stuff together, and it might be a good change to get away from what New York normally elects. You know what I mean? I don't want to again get into politics, but
This show is all felons, so forget it.
oh, okay.
This is not a
Nobody's.
good vote
I mean,
for you. You know what I'm
can't
saying?
vote when you're in jail. That's
Listen,
right.
all of you are felons. Cover your ears. You know.
You have anybody else calling in over here that are you got any other guys, mob guys, or
If they call in,
yeah, no,
I don't like people calling in.
okay,
Just random people.
yeah,
They're fucking crazy.
yeah.
They'll sit there on the phones and.
I got you.
Next thing you know, they're banging on your window. I've been on the phone for an hour.
Yeah.
And you're like, no.
They're probably going to have some of his empanadas if they find out how good
Yeah. And
they
then-
are and shit.
Listen, man, we saw. This is my world right now. We saw The Godfather. We saw Goodfellas. And then at the end of the day, no matter what the fuck you tell me,
Yeah,
we saw a TV series that swept America off their feet.
you talking about Miami?
What Miami? I'm talking about the fucking Sopranos.
Oh, the Sopranos.
It's-
Oh, I thought you were going back to Miami.
you
I'm
know,
sorry, brother.
For an example,
Yeah,
Miami Vice was Miami Vice. But it's like I tell people, in 97, I did a show and I had to send a resume. And the agent called me immediately and she's like, I got to talk to you. I'm like, what? She goes, you got to take North Bergen, New Jersey off your resume.
yeah.
She goes, I don't really want people to see that.
Really?
Always go to New York City. I go, all right, put New York City down. She's going to get me a role. This is when Springsteen was out. You know, all these animals are out. The Sopranos came out. It was completely different to put New Jersey on your resume.
Oh yeah, man. I love that show. I mean, I never missed an episode. That was amazing.
And I'm at the point in my life right now, at least I am, that I think I've seen the best of it. Mm-hmm. When people approach me for Mafia scripts now,
Yeah.
if I see Gino or Vinny,
Yeah, yeah,
the second page goes back. I'm
Yeah.
not interested.
yeah. I don't blame. I'll be honest. I
Just
don't blame you.
I'm not interested.
Yeah.
It's not interesting no more.
Yeah.
Give me the Mob 2025. You got 3 black dudes now.
There ain't.
You got a Dominican.
Yeah.
80 years are in jail. The other ones are fat and old. Nobody gives a fuck. Nobody's kicking up to these guys.
No.
They're 80. You're done.
That don't
if you
work.
can't shoot nobody, you ain't good to me.
There's
Get
nobody
the fuck
there.
out. You know, I mean, give me something like that that's real.
Yeah.
So I just can't. What were we talking about? These edibles are kicking
The
in.
Sopranos.
No, you're talking about the Sopranos and how
The Sopranos was so
yeah,
good
yeah.
that what's gonna match
Replace
that
it.
now?
Nothing.
What story are you gonna come at me? As a matter of fact, your boy just became councilman in the town next
I know
to him.
who he is.
Okay.
John. Yeah.
He just you saw all the
Yeah,
news.
no, I know.
He's
You
all
think I
over the
know.
news. People, I
Yeah,
go
he
to
was
the-
legit too. I mean, he was
No,
a bad.
he's
you
the
know,
real deal.
You know who he was with, right?
Yeah, I go to the weed store. People are like, do you know John? He wants to meet you. I don't know fucking John. I don't know no John. He's like the mayor of Englishtown now or something. That's the best weed store in town. The fucking.
Well, that's how could you believe
And
that?
I love John, and I believe John.
Yeah,
But I tell you what, there's 22 guys now running their mouths,
yeah.
and 11 of them turned evidence.
I mean,
And I'm a big fan of Sammy. Big
yeah. I
fan
mean,
of Sam.
I seen some of his things, and listen, no disrespect towards anybody. I mean, they did their thing, but they're doing their thing now. They still want to be there. They still want to talk about it. They love it. It's like, you know what I mean? It's in
No.
them.
I stop by Sammy on Instagram every other day,
Yeah,
and he's talking to you like it's 1984. So I talked to Paul,
Yeah.
and I told Paul, and you're like, do you think these kids even have an idea what the fuck you're talking about?
No.
Try to sell anything Gotti now.
No.
You're not going to sell a ticket. People
No.
don't want to hear that shit no more. Gotti's been beat up to death. If not, just throw on Mobsters every Sunday. It's the same episodes since 1998.
But back, when Sammy, let me just cut you off. Sammy, he went back after he got out. And DEA, and I know about this because I know the people that were involved with that. You know what happened to him when he went out when he was in the program, right?
Mm-hmm.
He went to Arizona and he got his kid involved with a lot of things, and they got locked up again with that ecstasy thing, which I never even hit on because I worked a lot of the Russian guys, and that was fucking unbelievable stories with the Russian guys and the ecstasy. But yeah, and another little thing that, perhaps if you have me on another time, maybe you don't want to hear my shit anymore, but because I'm getting very dry in the mouth right now.
Well, drink the fucking water.
No, I've
It's
been
good.
doing it, man, but I've been thinking about that, taking that edible, and that's even drying me out more. But getting back to, we were working a guy on Mob Wives. We locked up my group. I was a supervisor there, but we had locked up Renee Graziano,
Right.
and the big
dad?
person in that is Hector Pagan. I mean, I don't know
Right,
if
her-
you look
her
him up. I
ex-husband
mean,
or something.
yeah, but he was with us when he was on the show. If you catch my drift, you understand? But he did his own. Then he come out, and I think Graziano Anthony he testified against her father, who was a big weed guy over in Brooklyn. So that was very very interesting.
That's
you know?
crazy.
Yeah, and you could see his shit. A couple of YouTubers did a nice little thing on him. You know what I mean? That I saw recently. It was pretty interesting because I didn't realize all the shit he did. You know, he was actually pretty well liked, and he was with like big guys.
Ooh, T.G. Graziano.
No, I'm talking about
Hector?
Hector Pagan. You know, he was good friends with Joe Massimino, who was very big, and but they all get caught. You know, that's
He ratted at the end.
well, that's what I'm saying.
And he was fucking brilliant at the end.
Yeah.
Because he came out, he said, fuck these hangouts. I don't want you hanging out no more. Everybody's got to get a job. Everybody. Everybody's got to get off the corner. No more fucking jumpsuits. No more gold chains.
I have
We'll
the silver,
fucking
but there's a
hide.
guy over there. There's a Sergio Tacchini.
Yeah,
That's
we're
what it was all
fucking,
about.
we're fucking hiding. You know what I'm saying? And he shut it down for a while, but you're always going to make big fucking mistakes with cash.
Always.
The accountants came in. The FBI forensic accountants came in. You just might as well get the fucking noose ready. When them motherfuckers come, those are the people that killed Jesus. When they show up, four of those motherfuckers show up, you
That's
might as well
right.
just go, put the cuffs on.
Yeah.
Don't even bother. Don't even bother. I'll tell you on the way there. You know what I'm saying?
And it's
Because it's over. They're all nerds with glasses. They don't know nothing. They don't want to know pussy.
when they got a
don't wanna
fucking
know
calculator
cock.
in their fucking hand,
Trust
brother,
me.
and the number 2 pencil in their ear.
Trust me, when they come, dog, Giso. They come with the chemistry set, and it's over. It's over, guys. So once the forensic accountants come, just call your mother. Tell her, listen, Ma, it's over. You gotta give back the jewelry I gave you 3 years ago, because they're coming to get that any minute now.
You're right, brother.
Man, it's a real pleasure to have you on.
Well, thank you for having me.
And I
It
want to
was
have
nice
you on again. And
No problem. Sure.
Let's
There's
break
more
it down.
stories and stuff, and maybe by that time I'll have like a book written or something.
Oh, I would love it. I'm telling you.
I mean, I got a lot of things in my mind, but I got to get them somewhere before the mind goes. You know what I
You
mean?
got to run it through an attorney. You got to send it to the DA for clearance, and that's a hand job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I got to do that anymore
You
because
might
I'm
have-
retired. I don't know. I
Out of
don't know how that
respect,
works.
so they don't call you back in and bust your balls.
Yeah.
But it's pretty interesting. This is the most interesting thing I'm going to tell you, and then we'll get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Fucko was on the podcast before the pandemic. Wolf. What's his name? The Wolf of Wall Street.
Oh,
Remember
shit.
I gave
Jordan
him Quaaludes
Belfort.
from the fucking 80s.
Oh, the Wolf of Wall Street. That was
Jordan Belfort.
The movie.
Yeah,
movie.
I understand. I know what it was.
Benicio del Toro. Well,
Yeah.
he was on the show. The real Wolf
Yeah.
came on the show. We were talking about shit. And all of a sudden he goes, I don't know if you know how I wrote my story. And I go, why? He goes, Chang was my jailmate, my cellmate
Oh, okay.
in the federal. And he told me,
Yeah.
I was telling him stories about the stock market.
Yeah, because all the mob guys were that's what they were doing.
that's what they were
there
doing.
Was a couple of names, but what they were doing, you know what they do?
Yeah,
They push
the
certain
penny
stocks,
stock and
and
shit.
these guys don't even have licenses, and then they close it down and they short it, and that was Yeah, we were looking into a lot of those guys too.
But
I mean, yeah,
he talked them into writing a fucking book.
yeah,
And it became a fucking movie.
yeah.
That's my point.
And that's a
there.
yeah, it
That's
was a
what I'm
good
saying
movie.
to you. You're sitting there bored. Write a fucking movie.
Yeah,
Just to give you a heads up, he is going to take 10 points just for as the manager.
Five.
Just five?
He's family.
he could have more than that, man. I don't give
He's
a fuck.
family, dog. Come on.
How come you always charge me 10?
Because there's
Y'all even
reasons.
throw 5%.
I gotta hold your
brother.
hand. You're gonna call me at night. Did I make the right move? I mean, yeah, I need that in my life. 2 a.m. Lee, what's up? I can't sleep. This manager's got me going crazy. I'm over here, dreaming about fucking hanging out with the DEA, and all of a sudden,
Yeah, but it was nice coming. Nice, you're a great guy. All you guys are good guys. You bought some great fucking empanadas. You got a funny fucking laugh, and you got to work on that head cold, man.
I'm trying.
look at him.
You take some
You
Vicks.
got-
My mother used to put some Vicks by my
Come
nose.
back in 10 minutes. He'll be healed because
Yeah,
he got sick once I came back with
No, I didn't.
the Mac Daddy of Mac Daddies. He started getting sick last Wednesday when he saw the box. He started getting twitches and shit. He knew that Lent.
Listen,
that Lent was
what are
here.
these things here?
Do you
though?
have
What is
the-
this? It's like
This
nicotine.
is nicotine pouches. They come in 3, 6, 9, 12. Forget about it.
What do I got to put a couple of quarters in there? or
No. I'll hook you up with one on the way
No,
out.
I'm good, man.
You put one under your chin, forget it. You'll be fucking.
No, I can't do that.
You'll be
I'll
doing
throw up.
90 on the Parkway.
Yeah.
Hey! You got your old badge. I just put it there with a disco light now.
I do have it.
They don't know nothing. Just put the badge up with a disco light. That's it. Nobody knows nothing. Nobody will even stop you. That's the fucking funny thing.
Johnny, you got anything to say, brother?
Oh God!
Don't get them started. Don't get them
How
started.
about the goat bar?
We got to get the fuck out of
Oh, the
here.
goat bar, but holy fuck! Don't tell
No,
that.
we'll get the fuck out of here. Next time we'll talk about the goat
The goat bar is in
Now
the
it's
Bronx.
10 to 8. I'm already hungry. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm already
All right,
thinking
man.
about shit.
We out.
We out like
cutting.
fucking whatever.
Finito.
Lee, where you at this weekend?
March 29th, Broadway Comedy Club, 5:30 p.m.
Look at them.
wow.
Don't forget to be there. Austin, Moon Tower is officially sold out, but you got May 18th at the Parks motherfucking casino.
Yeah.
Right? Or August? May. We're working on May here and come out, and that's it, and that's that. I'll keep you posted. Lee, that's all you got?
That's all. I got Josh Wolf at Stanford Comedy Club in 2 weeks.
You going to
Make
Stanford?
something up, brother.
When are you going to Stanford?
Stanford, New York Comedy Club in 2
Oh,
weeks.
Stanford, New York. Okay.
Stanford, Connecticut.
I thought you were going to the old Stanford. The guy had the wig. That's a complete other story. I love you, savages. See you next week. Have a great week and get ready for April. What's happening, beautiful people? Uncle Joey here. It's March the 25th. Yes. Listen, I want to talk to you about something. Summertime is coming. You know what that means. It's time to head down to Pound Town. Da, 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 da. You need to be able to get that thing up there. And that's where Uncle Joey comes in. Blue Chew makes sure you're ready whenever the mood arises, whether you're on the beach, under the tunnel, wherever you're at, you're ready to go. Sign up at BlueChew.com. Meet with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you get approved, forget about it. Your prescription will be there in days. Blue Chew works. They're serious. They come in little pouches. You put one in your wallet, and when you're ready for war, bam, there you are. Anyway, no more wishing, no more praying for your little fucking dick to work. Those days are over with. Make life easier by getting harder and discover your options at BlueChew.com. It's summertime. These women got tons of options. Tons of options. So you better show up with a cape, a helmet, and a box of Blue Chew. Now, this is what I'm going to do for these nice people. You can get Blue Chew for free for 1 month. That's right. You can try it on your own. After you try it for 1 month, you're going to go, Joey, where have you been all my life? It's that easy. First month, Blue Chew for free when you press in promo code Joey, Joey. Again, Joey, Joey. Just pay $5 for shipping. That's promo code Joey. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And I want to thank Blue Chew for sponsoring the show and for helping young men sling some dick in 2025. You know what I'm saying? It's the summertime. 4th of July is coming. I love you guys.